billed as a big week for Celtic Football Club. The first game of 3 did not go to plan at Dens Park. This is round 2 against the Austrian champion Sturm Graz, who have already dispatched one half of Glasgow in this Europa League campaign. They've won their last 4 games and 11 of 15 overall this season. They are a good side with internationals among them, but here at home Celtic will and should fancy themselves, especially if they can capture some of the form we saw last season, which just has not materialised in this campaign so far. Celtic Park not quite full but very packed. Still a very big crowd here to roar the team on at the start of this game, although the protests continue in the corner that houses the Green Brigade with a massive banner up saying "Sack the boards." That will go on and on and on, and it is the job of Brendan Rodgers and the Celtic team now to try and put all of that rancour to the back of their minds and start anew here tonight against Sturm Graz with a massive game on Sunday at Tynecastle against league leaders Heart of Midlothian. But first things first, they want to get their Europa League campaign going after a draw out in Belgrade against Red Star, which was creditable, but it was followed up by a limp home defeat by Sporting Braga. And Celtic with just a 1 goal in Europe this season, and it was that Kelechi Iheanacho strike in Belgrade. And they simply must add to that tonight as the players get ready to form their huddle. 2 changes for Celtic tonight from the team that started against Dundee. Ralston and Yang dropping out. A welcome return of Alistair Johnston at right back after he was injured here in the first leg against Kyra. He's missed 10 games since, and he'll be a big presence on the right hand side. Benjamin Nygren will also play out there, we think, with Engels coming into midfield, and Yang, who was also hooked at half-time at Dens, among the substitutes tonight. So it's Schmeichel in goals, Johnson, Carter-Vickers, Scales and Tierney, McGregor, Engels and Hatate, Nygren, Tunekti and Iheanacho as the Celtic players break from the huddle. And it is loud at Celtic Park. And it was perhaps unexpected in terms of what we usually get here on a European night, but given everything that's been going on, would have perhaps expected to see a more muted atmosphere, but it's not been the case here. Can Celtic channel that and give a much better account of themselves? It will be Sturm Graz all in black to kick off. Going to shoot from right to left as we sit in the main stand here at Celtic Park. Celtic in the green and white hoops, white shorts, white socks, and the referee is Juan Martín Munuera of Spain. He blows the whistle and we are underway. Celtic go on to match day 3 of their Europa League campaign, and Tierney heads it out to Vensta Kisnishvili, the Georgia international, the key man. Celtic win it in midfield, and Carter-Vickers gives it to Johnson, who immediately drives forward and fires the pass down the right hand side, but Iheanacho is a long way from that as Lavallée, the Belgian centre back, comes across and lashes it into midfield. Good touches in there from Sturm Graz initially, but that pass evades Horvat, and Tierney's onto it in the centre of the pitch, and he lays it out to Tunekti. The Tunisian playing off the left hand side once more, comes in on the right foot, corner of the area, gives it to Hatate now. Hatate stabs it through Engels, back to goal, heavy touch, and Sturm Graz can clear. Better from Celtic, getting it forward as that one is blocked and out for a Celtic throw midway through Sturm Graz territory.
Yeah, I'm just looking at Iheanacho. I think he's struggling a little bit. He's pointing over to the bench, and he didn't really close down. There was a ball played down the channel and he never went after it, and he didn't close down. He's just looking over. I don't know what's going on here. I think he is struggling, and I think they're going to make a change early in this game.
Well, no doubt Maida, of course, because he's got stiffening in his lower back and hamstring, and obviously we know Celtic's forward trouble's well documented with Ida departing for Swansea, so that really will be a unwelcome shift after only potentially a couple of minutes.
Well, it was his first run, wasn't it? You know, he's obviously he's definitely wanting to come off the pitch, and that is a major blow. And I'm looking at obviously the bench also. It's only Johnny Kenny, the other striker. He's down now, Iheanacho, and he's off the pitch as far as I can see.
Yeah, he's down on the turf now, as Paki says, and the referee's asking for the Celtic physios to come on, so this is really not an ideal start. Kelechi Iheanacho Well, Celtic's joint second top scorer this season, only on 3 goals. Nygren on top of that list with 4, and he's down. And the physio was asking the question here, and it is Johnny Kenny, who is now stripped and ready. Came on at Dens Park at half time.
You know, the ball was just played down the channel. He didn't really sprint after it. He definitely didn't close down the player who was in possession. And this is a major blow for Celtic, because, listen, the big games are coming up also. He can't obviously take any part in this game tonight whatsoever. And then this game coming up at the weekend, and then you've got the cup final also, and a midweek game against Falkirk. So these are enormous games, and now they're left. If he's injured and he's out for a period of time, whether it's a hamstring or something that's happened to him, and they've only left what one striker, Maeda, is also injured. Serious stuff. Well,
it will only draw further attention to the lack of forwards business in the transfer window, which, as I mentioned, just never goes away. And Johnny Kenny is on for Celtic after only 3 minutes at Celtic Park, and Kelechi Iheanacho shakes his head as he heads straight for the tunnel. A blow, a serious one, very early.
It does, but listen, it gives an opportunity for Johnny Kenny now. Young man, a little bit of lightweight at times at this level, but he's got a little bit of pace about him, and let's see what he can do. He's on for the full game in a European tie, and it's a big task for him.
Yeah, well, he enjoyed the Conference League last season for Shamrock. He was one of the top scorers in the league phase for them. He was on fire. But this is an altogether different pressure leading the line for Celtic, as Matteo Vignetti, the goalkeeper for Sturm Graz, second choice goalkeeper, the 21-year-old Austrian, in for Christensen, who was injured at the weekend. Can Celtic test him? Sturm Graz coming up the left-hand side, and it's played out by Engels for a throw into Sturm. Kitishvili takes it to Chukwani, back to Kitishvili, who runs into traffic. McGregor gets a really good challenge in. The Celtic captain, he's driving up to halfway, and then he's looking for the pass to Kenny, and he's just about found it, but it's a good recovery from Lavallee to get a toe on it, but Kenny's battled well. Now he's trying to hold off the defender to get the corner they thought he was going to get, but the linesman on this near side signals for a goal kick, much to the Irishman's frustration.
Yeah, but he was tenacious there. He got himself between the player and the ball. He thought the player could have touched him, that he could have held on to it and tried to win his corner, but obviously the referees and the assistant, I think, made the decision here that he got the last touch.
Kitishvili, first touch around the corner, gets it back, and it's going to be a free kick to Sturm just inside their own half. But Kitishvili really does make them tick. 8 goals in 11 appearances this season, and he just gets involved in so much. Little 1-2s round the corner, and as I just touched on, he's a goal threat as well. Scored late goals in their last 2 league games and against Rangers, so 3 in a row all told now for Otar Kitishvili.
Yeah, he's a comfortable player on the ball, isn't he? You know, and he plays in that number 10 position, which gives him freedom to find little pockets of space, and if he can be picked out, then it becomes dangerous.
Throw back from Johnson to Carter Vickers, who goes to Schmeichel. Schmeichel fires it out to Liam Scales in his own penalty area, out to Tierney at left back. First time up to Engels, controls on the chest, and he's done well. It was Kenny, I beg your pardon, into the Engels with a chested pass, and Engels draws the foul and gets the free kick, and a bit of shoving there from Engels on Kitishvili, and the referee just calming things down. Goalless after 6 minutes between Celtic and Sturm Graz. But Celtic, if you're just joining us live on Sports Sound on BBC Sounds and BBC Radio Scotland, Celtic forced into an early change up front. Iheanacho forced off with an injury in the opening 3 minutes, and Johnny Kenny is on. Yeah,
I just wonder how much that will upset their kind of rhythm and plans that they maybe had before the game. I think set pieces probably will come into that equation, and whether he has a key role to play, Johnny Kenny will have to take it up and be comfortable when he's out there now to take on the responsibility.
And that was a stray one from Alistair Johnson, gives the throw into Sturm Graz, and now they go back to their goalkeeper Matteo Vignetti, who goes long with the right boot on top of Liam Scales, and Celtic did not deal with that long ball at all at the weekend from Dundee. They've done so this time. Dundee went really direct and caused all sorts of problems in the Celtic backline.
Yeah, the other problem with the way Celtic play, they play with one holding midfield player, and that's Callum McGregor, who isn't the biggest. So the 2 centre halves will always be under that pressure, and you need other people then to support them.
Liam Scales out to Tierney on the left-hand side, slides it up the line for Tenecti, midway up Sturm's half, and he goes back to Carter Vickers. Sturm Graz also victims in Champions League qualification, humbled by Bodo Glimt, beaten 5-0 out in Norway in the playoff rounds. They won the return 2-1, but it was far too little too late. Celtic coming forward, McGregor, Hatate, first time in here, chance, and a little challenge as Tenecti looked to pull the trigger on the edge of the box, but a good tackle from Sturm, who are now countering through the Slovenian Horvat. His little reverse pass is poor, and Tierney picks up. Tierney over halfway. Tierney out to the left-hand side.
Yeah, I think Tenecti just took an extra touch, didn't he? Or I think he could have pulled the trigger a little bit quicker when he came on the inside. Yeah,
that is often his sin. Sebastian Tenecti just overplays at times, despite being a real threat for Celtic when he has the ball. And there's a corner won here by Alistair Johnston, and they go quickly through Nygren to McGregor, back to Nygren on the touchline, into Engels, little backheel flick.
I don't understand that corner whatsoever. They've got a young goalkeeper who hasn't played that many games, and he'd take a shot when there was about 5 or 6 bodies all in an area to defend it.
Johnston now into Hatate, who leaves it for nobody, and now Sturm Graz countering through Horvat into Malone. The German centre forward has to run back over halfway and offloads it eventually to Tim Uhrmann, the Germany under-21 international on loan from Bayer Leverkusen. He is really a centre back, but with an injury to Malic, who is back among the subs tonight for Sturm Graz. He's been deputising out there for the Austrians. There's Chukwani to Stankovic, and back to Iwu, and then back to Vignetti. Yeah, Celtic, they did that all game against Dundee, which I suppose you can understand in that situation, because Dundee had 3 centre-backs and big centre-backs in the box, and they went short with their corners nearly every time.
Just test the young goalkeeper to see what he's made of. Will he be comfortable under a little bit of pressure?
Here's Karic, slides it in behind for Malone, who's going to get there on the left-hand side of the box. Malone takes it out the area towards the touchline. Malone back to Karic, the left-back, then Chukwani. Oh, it's a lovely pass for Karic. It's well covered by Callum McGregor, and the challenge, he's kept it in as well as Celtic captain, and away from Karic, and then into Gasser Schmeichel. That was impressive stuff from Callum McGregor to mop up there with Sturm Graz threatening down Celtic's right hand side. It remains 0-0 after 9.5 minutes.
Yeah, listen, what Celtic can't afford is that Sturm Graz, who've started off fairly passively in this game so far, but to grow in confidence and get plenty of possession.
It's nodded by Karic into Kitashvili, and he's offloaded it to Roscoe, who tries to go around Carter Vickers. He's done it, but there's a excellently timed challenge at the last minute from Johnston to knock it back to Schmeichel, and now Johnston trying to play out from his own touchline. He was put in bother there by the pass from Nygren, and then Sturm Graz have won the throw, and they take it quickly. It goes into the edge of the box. Chukwani touched away for Horvat, left hand side of the area, low cross blocked by Engels, still in play. Sturm Graz still with the ball. Karic, low pass, then Kitashvili curls one, but it's well off target. But Sturm Graz just showing they can get quick passes in and around the Celtic box.
Yeah, good combination of passes, nice and sharp, and getting people into good positions.
Here comes Tierney though for Celtic, gives it out to Tenecti on the left touchline. Here he comes inside, slides it to Hatate, little touch, but it just allows Stankovic to step in and win it, and then Hatate fouls the Slovenian and the Sturm Graz captain on the edge of his own box, and it is a free kick.
Yeah, listen, it was a good pass from Tenecti into Hatate's feet. I don't know what he was trying to do, coming back on the inside. I think he could have went to the byline and even cut it back, but it was a wrong decision again. And I think that's been a feature of Celtic's games so far. They're get into decent positions, but either it's a poor execution or it's a wrong decision.
Yeah, the manager was crystal clear about that in the aftermath of Dens Park, as Moses Malone is flagged offside. But this feels like a must-win game for Celtic. Brendan Rodgers said it was yesterday, because you really probably need 11 points. Last season, the Europa League table, you needed 11 points to be guaranteed to go through into the next round, and 10 was good enough for a few, but some missed out with 10 on goal difference. So
it's a must-win in many ways. Also, they've a big game coming up at the weekend. They've got a cup final coming up also. They've got to get the confidence booster out of this particular one, and create chances, but score a couple of goals and win the game, and that will maybe change a lot of things for them.
Yeah, 10 points was enough for 3 of the 5 teams who ended up on it, as Callum McGregor goes down and gets a free kick. A valuable one for Celtic, bang in the middle of Sturm Graz's half. We'll see if we can make much of this set piece goalless after 12 minutes at Celtic Park. Arne Engels now gives it to Nygren on the right hand side. Nygren, step over and back to Engels. Engels looking for the pass for Hatate, but given away. And now Sturm carry through Malone, and a pass for Kitishvili, and there was hesitation from Carter Vickers there. It allows the Georgian in, and he's returned it to Malone, edge of the box. Scales is with him, little reverse for Rosga, and McGregor again is back to cover for Celtic.
Yeah, that hesitation again, that's a lack of confidence for me.
Oh, and it's won by Johnny Kenny here off Lavallee. He's in the angle of the box. Johnny Kenny, no support, and he's just drilled it past the far post. Unlucky from the Celtic replacement.
Oh my word, that was just inches by the right hand post, coming in on an angle on this right hand side, and he just drills it across the goalkeeper. Really good initially, closing down and winning the ball, and then just driving it. It was a difficult angle for him. He had to take it on, he had no support whatsoever, and he just drilled it across the goalkeeper. The right thing to do, just failed to hit the side netting inside the post, just drifts wide.
Yeah, he had no other option. Johnny Kenny, 22-year-old Irishman, did so well to win it. And Brendan Rodgers will love that. You know, the pressing from the front, winning the ball. It just brought the stadium to life.
Yeah, I agree, Thomas. That's one of the big aspects of Celtic's play. You know, that pressing, and then the counter pressing when you lose the ball quickly, and all of that. And that again is mentality. That's hard work, and players putting themselves on a limit where they're working really, really hard.
Here's Chukwani for Sturm Graz in his own half, and then goes back to come forward. A lovely touch from Rosgar in the corner to Karic. Infield ball to Kitishvili, swivels round and again, and then slides it back out to Karic. Nygren has to come across. Karic doesn't deliver the cross, goes back to Chukwani. Chukwani to Kitishvili, tried to thread the pass in for Rosgar, but it's too far in front of him, and Schmeichel smothers it. And it's now with Tierney. Celtic looking to play at pace. Tenekte again, poor touch, and here comes Sturm. Kitishvili to Rosga, returns it to Tommy Horvath. He's going to strike from distance. Oh, what a goal! Oh, it's an absolute screamer from Tommy Horvath. And the 2,500 Sturm fans in the corner of Celtic Park go absolutely wild for that one. That was an absolute belter, and it is Celtic 0, Sturm Graz 1.
Oh, what a strike. Magnificent strike, I've got to say. And again, it was Tierney, you know, picks up really good possession down the left hand side from a quick kick out, can almost volley from Schmeichel, but he takes the wrong option. He passes the ball inside when he could have easily passed the ball to Hatate and changed the game or linked the game up. Wrong, and then suddenly he's got out of position. Players are all over the place then, and I'm not sure, was it Horvath that scored, or was it the young man that has just come on the pitch? If it's Horvath, it was a magnificent strike, I've got to say. I'm just looking at the goalkeeper also a little bit, and I know it's way up in the top corner, but I'm trying to see what kind of feet movement that he had. Did he take off properly, or was he caught a little bit unawares? But what a strike it was, I've got to say.
Tommy Horvath scored the opener against Rangers in Graz at the start of the month. He scored the opener against Celtic here in Glasgow, and it was a screamer right into the top corner. And Celtic are going to have to come from behind in the Europa League on match day 3.
Well, it shows you at this level, listen, you know, teams are capable, players are capable of doing that, and at this level, and you cannot make that simple mistake that Kieran Tierney, for me, made.
Better play from Celtic in midfield, and Engels returns it to Hatate. Now it's out to Nygren. Nygren curls the ball into the box. Lavallee heads it behind for the Celtic corner. Fans doing their best to rouse the players on the pitch and get behind them as they trail by a goal to 0. Sturm Graz couldn't have dreamt of a better start, and it was a simply stunning strike. Can Celtic respond here with a corner? Engels delivers with the right foot near post, header down from Scales, and that was blocked. And there's a little appeal there perhaps a handball. Nothing given on the pitch, and it will be a Celtic throw on this near side.
They're checking it, are they? No.
Yeah, the referee's asking them, Nygren, to wait, so now it's play on. So quick check, and the officials are happy with it. It's better delivery, or they actually chose to deliver it this time into the box, Celtic. As McGregor has it, rolls it with the studs, gives it to Johnston. Johnston drives past Rojkan, does well, and then slides the pass into the box. Nygren, can he get out of his feet? Space closed down. Tierney on the edge. Tunekti now in the area. Sebastian Tunekti forced outside the box, and now the chance is almost gone. Recycled to Tierney. Tierney driving to the byline, stands it up into the box. Header over the top from Benjamin Nygren. Better play from Celtic. Eventually the chance comes, but Nygren can only head it over the top.
Yeah, good reaction from Celtic to try to claw him way back into this game with a quick reply. Tierney has put it up to that back post. Nygren just couldn't get up to get any direction on it. It was just a weak header at the end, just over the crossbar. I think it was Tierney that had an opportunity just before that anyway, on the edge of the box, to maybe have a strike, and he hesitated a little bit, but kept it alive.
Yeah, the Celtic fans were screaming for them to just shoot someone. Nygren, it looked like he got it out his feet initially before the header. The initial chance with the pass from Johnston into the box, but he just couldn't get it in a position where he could unleash the shot from the angle. Here is Alistair Johnston, and its pass is slightly under hit, but Celtic eventually profit with a throw in. Johnston flings it to Engels. Chikwani with a little nudge and wins the ball. Kitishvili leaves it for Stankovic, and Carter Vickers, good strength up against Malone, who's a big powerful centre forwards. Let it run for the throw in. Now it's Liam Scales. Scales into the centre circle for Celtic. Tierney.
That's what I mean about that ball. It's a ball. It's a nothing ball because it's a square pass. They end up having to come back again, all the way back to the goal. It keeps possession, but I think that was very different before.
Tunekti takes the ball out the sky from Schmeichel, and then sends to McGregor on the halfway line. McGregor along the deck to Tierney. Tierney down the outside for Tunekti. Tunekti tries to shift it back onto the right foot, but he tangles with the defender, and eventually Iwu is fouled by Tunekti, and there's a Sturm Graz free kick on the far side.
That was a better ball again, Tierney this time, because he's high up the pitch, and that ball can be driven into his feet, and then they're at least advanced maybe 20-30 yards further up the pitch and get a bit of movement. I don't like to see that square pass from the centre half just to a full-back. It's doing nothing for you.
20 minutes played. It is Celtic 0, Sturm Graz 1. Tommy Horvat's sensational strike from distance separates the teams in what has otherwise been an even game, as Engels slides in. Sturm Graz get the throw in the Celtic half, and Sturm with a 4-3 win over Blau-Weiß Linz at the weekend to stay too clear at the summit of the Bundesliga in Austria, ahead of RB Salzburg, who they've pipped to the title in the last 2 seasons, ending a decade of dominance from the Red Bull-owned club. Celtic free kick just short of halfway. Nygren barged to the ground. Johnston goes back to Carter Vickers. Carter Vickers for Scales, and the two of them had plenty of touches against Dundee on Sunday. Loads of them in the Dundee half as well, but Celtic could find no way through, and that's a wild pass back to Carter Vickers there, who had a tough time controlling it, and Brendan Rodgers not happy with that one on the edge of his technical area.
Yeah, it just slows the game down, doesn't it?
And a big switch from Carter Vickers, and Tierney's found good space and a good touch with the chest, and then he gives it to Tunekti. Low cross block behind for a corner on the far side.
That's where you want to see Kieran Tierney, outside left. Tunekti coming on the inside, creating the space for him, and then that drilled ball. There's a ball
cross from Engels, and it's headed away by Chikwani, and Celtic come again down the far side. McGregor McGregor's pass is blocked, and then Kitasvili, Engels has won it back. Hatate, back to Callum McGregor, wide of the goal, and it's Engels, touch, gets the shot away, scuffed it, deflected, and it just drops wide of the right-hand post. Not far away from a Celtic equaliser. It wasn't a great shot from Engels, but the deflection almost took it past Vignetti.
No, it was a mishit. It was a mishit actually, and I put the goalkeeper, that deflection, the goalkeeper's going the wrong way, and again, when your luck's out, and it just goes agonisingly past the right-hand post.
Arne Engels, that was just a touch and a strike of a player. It's just such low confidence. And you saw him last season, the Belgian. Scored once and got 3 assists in the Champions League in his 10 appearances. In tonight from the start for Celtic. Corner on the far side. It's a good delivery, and it's Stankovic who heads it away. Hatate kind of meekly sends it back towards the box with his header, but it drops for a Sturm Graz player. Leathers it down the pitch. Only Alistair Johnson's back. He's got Roscoe on him. Back to Schmeichel, who just squeezes it away to Callum McGregor. Now it's Rio Hatate. Halfway, but he turns back and goes all the way back to Alistair Johnson. There was space in front, and you can hear what the Celtic crowd think of that. And now Alistair Johnson's gone down. His first game back after 10 out with a hamstring issue. They've already lost Kelechi Iheanacho to what looked like a muscle injury in the first few minutes.
He's off too. He's off. Hamstring's gone again.
And that
was he rushed back too early? Would be now the question asked.
Oh, he's got his hands on his face, Alistair Johnson, and he's distraught. And just everything that could go wrong for Celtic at the moment is going wrong. He's done.
Yeah, incredibly. But Hatate shouldn't have passed it back to him. I know he's probably done maybe before that, but Hatate had the opportunity to go forward. That got the crowd really frustrated.
Celtic have lost 2 players in the opening 23 minutes to injury.
Hamstrings.
And both, muscle injuries. And are going to have to wait to make the sub as well. We're on now. It'll be Donovan or Ralston coming on. Hatate to Scales to Hatate, and then Carter Vickers. It's going to be Donovan, as Carter Vickers has it at the edge of the centre circle. Scales fizzes it down the left, flick from Tinekti for Tierney, who's managed to cling onto it. No space, and then his pass doesn't reach Hatate, but he manages to recover. Tierney goes to Carter Vickers. Donovan is stripped and ready, getting his last few instructions from Brendan Rodgers. And Celtic 1-0 down, and already lost 2 players to the treatment table as Johnny Kenny runs him. I know he's brought it down. His touch just too heavy, and it goes through to Vignetti, the goalkeeper.
He got any sort of touch at all in that. It was a really good ball over the top, and it shows you Johnny Kenny has the pace to get in behind and is coming down. Yes, it would have been sensational if he could get a touch and just knock it past the goalkeeper. Just the touch failed him though.
Donovan's still not on the pitch yet, so Celtic down to 10 as Iwu, the centre back, plays it out to Urman, the right back for Sturm Graz, who lead by a 1-0. It's Stankovic, now Chukwani, back to Stankovic. Sturm not in a rush to go anywhere as they go back to Iwu, and it's played forward. Tierney up to Tinekti, and Donovan's ready to come on, and Celtic just need to take it out, but Stankovic eventually does it for them.
Just again, manage the game, just knock it out and get your player on. Now you're back 11v11 at least, and then you can start again.
Well, Colby Donovan is on. Missed the Motherwell game here before the international break, and then was unused at Dens on Sunday. Had made a good start to the season, his breakthrough campaign, and he's on now at right back for Celtic. And the worrying thing is Alistair Johnson missed 10 games. How many more might he miss now with so many big fixtures coming up? Horvat to Rosca, a little flick. Sturm Graz playing with confidence, but goes through to Celtic, and Schmeichel, Leathers at first time with the right foot. I thought he would have just used his hands there.
No, I think it would have been a pass back.
Must have been.
It would have been a pass back, deemed a pass back. So he had a volley that has bounced up high up around his sort of chest and just waiting for it to come down, and made good contact.
And Carter Vickers is going to be penalised here as Malone goes down. I think it was the other way round actually. Malone's gone down in a heat, but it's Celtic who get the free kick in the centre circle. They need to try and mount a response, Celtic.
Yeah, they've got to dig really deep here today. You know, they've lost 2 players, a goal down. Haven't played that badly, I've got to say. The goal itself was something of a sensational strike, but they've just got to, in around the edge of the box, they've been sort of hesitant. You know, I've seen Celtic players, when they get into that position, just hit that target, but they've been hesitant to get a strike away. Then it's a second touch, and just the momentum then is gone, and that gets the crowd frustrated also at times.
Yeah, well documented struggles in front of goal this season. Failed to score in 6 of their 14 matches before tonight. They only failed to score in 5 of 57 last season.
Yeah, and the contribution for goals came from all over the pitch. That's the other situation.
As Donovan's header, foul on Kenny in the Celtic half. Well, you look at the goals from last season. Maeda 33, Kuhn 21, Ida 20, Kyogo 12, Hatate 11, even McGregor and Engels got into double figures with 10. And that productivity very much absent, easy for me to say, this season. As Scales goes back to Schmeichel. Schmeichel to Carter Vickers. Carter Vickers over halfway to Donovan, touch inside, away from Rozga, and then back to Carter Vickers. And the stadium was very much with Celtic, even when they went 1-0 down, but they need to try and inspire these supporters here tonight. As Tunekti jinks away from one and then gives it to Tierney, who's made a good run. Tierney with a high cross, too high. Nygren goes after it, keeps it in on this near side. His first time pass is not a great one for Donovan. It hits off the defender, Karic, out for a Celtic throw.
Yeah, he's using his left foot, isn't he? You know, he's coming trying to pass a ball through the player, and he could just take it on his right foot, slide it down the side of him. Engels
out-muscled by Chukwueze, and Sturm Graz play out quite nicely before Malone is under pressure from Scales, plays the ball out. Is Carter Vickers receiving the throw-in. Back to Schmeichel. Schmeichel to Carter Vickers. We brought you 2 live commentaries earlier, although if you're a Scottish football fan, generally you might not have wanted to listen to them, given Rangers went down 3-0 in Bergen and Aberdeen were thumped 6-0 in Athens. A record defeat for the Dons. Celtic trailing by a goal to nil here in the first half as we approach the half-hour mark. Sturm Graz throw just on halfway, goes back to Lavallee, a former teammate of Nico Raskin at Standard Liège, the Belgian. Vignetti to Lavallee back to Vignetti, and Sturm Graz, although they only have a 1-goal advantage, they don't need to force anything.
Yeah, you're right, Thomas. They're just taking the heat out of it, just keeping the ball at the back a little bit.
Lavallee plays it down the line, and Karic is in so much space, the left back, collects it on the byline, slides it back, Kitisvili clatters the post. Oh, it should have been 2-0 to Sturm Graz. One simple ball down the left, cut back, and Kitisvili has his hands on his head because he feels he should have scored.
Wow, the space that was allowed to I'm just looking at it from Karic, I think, is it, that got into that position, the left back, but nobody picking him up, and he had all the space in the world to drive to the byline and cut that ball back for Kitisvili, and he should have, well, he did well. He curled it around I don't know who was approaching him, one of the centre backs, around everybody, just hit the outside of the post, so he could have been easily 2-0 down.
Yeah, I'm being harsh on him, perhaps, and he should have scored that. He did well to force it towards the target. But Celtic now, pass down the outside for Tierney, low cross, cut out at the near post by Iwu, back to Tierney, and there's Engels with a header, cleared off the line by Iwu. Celtic so close, ball still alive. Tunekti, no space for the shot, lays it back to Hatate. Now Tierney goes down the outside, low cross, Kenny, and the challenge comes in from Iwu, and Sturm Graz are able to clear. Oh, chance there. It's good defending in the end from Iwu to clear it off the line.
Yeah, he got himself back into a good position. But again, another big chance. 7-8 yards out. Was hung up there just to get enough power. And it maybe tried to get it top corner, but he's headed it back down to where it came from. And Iwu got back on the line to clear. But again, for Celtic, just can't get a ball in the back of the net.
The positive is that they weren't really creating as many chances like this on Sunday at Dens Park. He obviously sitting a lot deeper than Sturm Graz are tonight, but Engels has popped up in the box a couple of times, just hasn't had the conviction or the confidence really to take it on. Although he did what he needed to there, really steered the header down and on target that Iwu read it and made the crucial block to keep Sturm Graz 1-0 in front. Hatate crowded out, and now Stankovic has it, lifts it over the top at Carter Vickers. Chests it and gives it to Donovan, who plays it down the line. Kenny will chase Lavallee to Karic and then into Iwu, who goes long, but it's too long and through to Schmeichel.
Kenny just caught on his heels a little bit. He should be running that channel. As soon as that ball dropped to Donovan, he knew that the only option he had was down the channel, and he was caught on his heels.
Scales square for Carter Vickers. Donovan, good pass for Engels. Lavallee was sharp, came across to cover. Engels putting the pressure on. Nygren with the challenge, and that is Sturm Graz throw. Celtic fans disagree.
Yeah, I thought it was actually a throw in the Celtic on that occasion. I thought the assistant got it wrong.
Yeah, and Celtic have played better tonight than we saw at the weekends, but still they trail, and still they are unable to score, and they're not going to score with passes like that down the right hand side. Although I have to say Donovan has had a couple of good passes since he's come on inside. That one just poor and straight out for a goal kick to Sturm.
Yeah, well, Nygren is playing an inside right position today. Obviously playing with a winger over on the left hand side. Took him Nekti over on the left hand side. He's going to Nygren's playing more as an inside sort of kind of right position.
Chukwani blocked by Engels, breaks for Rosga, and it's good intervention there from young Kobe Donovan to get his body between the player and the ball, and it's now back with Schmeichel and then Scales and out to Tierney. Completed 90 minutes for the second time this season at the weekend. Scales to Tierney, now it's to Nekti, nowhere to go, and he chips it back into the centre circle for Carter Vickers. Now it's Callum McGregor, fizzes it to Donovan. Donovan has Nygren outside him, he goes inside with a run, back out to Nygren. Rosgar read it and uses his strength to earn the goal kick for Sturm Graz, and then G's up the fans in that corner in front of him.
Yeah, intelligent play from the young 19-year-old, just in the team tonight, just using his body, using his strength. He's not the biggest guy in the world, but able to hold off Nygren to allow his team to get a goal kick. It's taken long. Very long.
Carter Vickers is underneath it though. Goes back to the header with McGregor, who's out-muscled. And now it's with Sturm Graz. Rosgat, left-hand side, inside the Celtic half, up to Malone. Good strength from Carter Vickers, clears it, and there's a foul in there. Free kick Sturm Graz, a couple of yards in from the touchline. And there's Rosgat, who was fouled. Celtic, just this place, just gone a bit more quiet and subdued than it was at the start.
Yeah, I'm just looking around the group of players, and I'm thinking to myself, who's the one now that is the real special one that could go and do something a little bit out of extraordinary to put Celtic back in this game? It's all very similar.
Horvat with a deep free kick, curls to the back post. Stankovic goes up, header, and then it's right on the goal line. It drops and it's over the top. What a miss from Iwu. Well, he was the hero up the other end with a goal line block. It falls to him, edge of the 6-yard box, goal at his mercy, and he leans back and puts it over the top.
Oh, what a... I don't know what's going on here. Why is he slowing it down? What's he stopping? Is he waiting for,
don't know if
just
he didn't
get on with the game?
Yeah, I don't know what that was about. Over officious from the referee there.
Yeah, but what a chance! What a chance for you. Just drops him in the 6-yard box after Celtic failed to clear their lines, and he just volleys it over the crossbar from almost point blank range, 6 yards out.
Celtic have had chances to equalise, but Sturm have hit the post and now had that chance. Tierney, left-hand side of the box, blocked by Urman. Back to Tierney. Tierney trying to get back on that left foot, goes with the right foot. He's got Horvat now in front of him, offloads it to Hatate. Hatate back to Scales. Scales to Hatate, back to Scales, and then Carter Vickers. And Carter Vickers is going to go back to Scales. Celtic move towards the left. McGregor, lovely pass for Tenekti. Tenekti inside, cut back and cleared. Well cleared in the end by Karic after Celtic pulled it back. There's no one in a green-white hoops there anyway, as Hatate tries to get on the end of the throw-in at the byline, back heel flick, and then Kitisvili's back there trying to do the defensive work. He's done brilliantly to prevent the corner and clear it up the touchline.
Yeah, listen, he's really getting into a great position again. Just needs to pick his head up and see where players are. Just it's a blind pass, and there was no takers for Celtic.
Nygren is bundled over by Karic. Free kick to Celtic 10 yards into the Sturm half. McGregor to Scales. Scales curls it into Tenekti's path. Touch up against Urman. Tenekti goes inside there. Now he's done brilliantly. Tenekti flashes the ball across, and it's come all the way through and out for a throw-in on this near side.
Again, the final execution does everything right down that left-hand side. A little bit of trickery to go past the defender, and then just fends across, smashes across almost the 6-yard box, and nobody there.
Yeah, it's begging for a big centre forward to get in and head that. Don't know if that might have been too high, in fairness. And McGregor sliding challenge is taking a deflection, and it's away down the side, and Scales has come across to make the strong challenge on Malone, and it's going to be a Sturm Graz throw-in. It was too easy for the Austrians to get up the pitch, and they lead by a goal to nil. Horvat's goal is the difference after 15 minutes, and it is Karic with a throw-in. He's waiting on his options, and the referee blows the whistle. Karic throws it into the area, flicked on by Sturm. Hatate clears, and it drops to him, hit off a Sturm Graz player, and it's off a hand, so it's a Celtic free kick in their own box.
Yeah, listen, it's 39 minutes gone. Vital that Celtic try to get something before half-time, but it was back into this game.
Tenekti carries it down the far side. Comes in field, and he's picked out Hatate. Hatate pulls it back, Nygren, and he heads it wide. Gilt-edged opportunity for the Swedes. He's steered his header wide of the post, and it remains Celtic 0, Sturm Graz 1.
Yeah, it was a brilliant ball from I think it was Tierney into Hatate, who controls it and just lays it on a plate for Nygren, just attacking the ball, perfect height, and he goes and he heads it, and it comes off the side of his head and goes by the left-hand post, well wide of the left-hand post. Gilt-edged chance for Celtic to get back in this game just before half-time.
From our angle, I wondered if it was just going to drop in that bottom corner, just nestle in the side netting, but it did not. And that is a huge chance for Celtic, as that looked like a slip there. The referee has blown the whistle. It looked like he slipped before Engels made contact.
Yeah, I think he did he stand in the ball, or did he slip? Absolutely, it wasn't a free kick. It looked like a free kick, from where, but when you look at it from, he's up close, the referee, to it, and he should be able to see what happened.
Yeah, Engels was going to make the challenge. Iwu slipped, and then obviously Engels made contact with him on his way down as he tried to pinch the ball and run through it. The referee's given the foul. I have to say, I disagree with that decision, as Scales heads it out of defence as Sturm go long, and it will be a Celtic throw over on the far side now. Celtic creating chances, at least, which is a positive for Brendan Rodgers. Just haven't been able to take them. They have given up a couple at the other end as well, and of course trail to that quite stunning strike from Tommy Horvat. It's a Celtic free kick in their own half. 4 minutes to the break plus stoppages. And incidentally, if you're just joining us live on Sportsline on Sounds and on BBC Radio Scotland, Celtic have lost Iheanacho and Alistair Johnston in this first half to injury.
Yeah, listen, you don't mind, you know, it can happen. You can lose a goal for an unbelievable strike like that out of nothing, but it wasn't out of nothing because Celtic had good possession of the ball and give it away.
And Engels asking a lot of Nygren there. Lavallee's come across and done his job effectively to shield it out for a goal kick. First ever meeting between these sides here tonight. Celtic last up against Austrian opposition against RB Salzburg in this competition in 18-19 and 14-15 seasons. Didn't win any of those games. Got a poor record against Austrian opposition. Won just 2 of 12. Losing tonight. Still time though as we tick towards the half-time. Header by Donovan. Chukwue's going to try and let this run out. Celtic get a boot on it. Throw into Sturm. Just around halfway. Karic is ready to take, and it is Karic to throw down the line. Header off the back of Malone and breaks for Donovan. He's played it behind for Kenny. Flag stays down for now. He's at the corner of the box, doesn't have much support as yet. Kenny Jinkin gets the strike away and the goalkeeper has to make the save. Did well to get it on target from the angle. Johnny Kenny, here he is. Kenny playing it off Karic, tried to get round him, and then Karic has won the throw off Hatate.
Yeah, similar to the last time, down the channel, getting away and getting in, but cutting in even a tighter angle this time. But I don't think he had very many options. He's looking up, trying to see who's up in support of it. Nobody was there apart from I think it might have been Tunekti was trying to get there, but still wasn't in a great position for him to cut it back to, and he takes on the shot and hoping and praying that maybe it might go under the goalkeeper or whatever, but I don't think he was ever going to beat the goalkeeper from that angle.
Yeah, you're requiring a howler from the young goalkeeper who's deputising for Sturm Graz tonight, Matteo Vignetti, and he was equal to the strike, and it remains Celtic 0, Sturm Graz 1. Just about a minute to the break, well, plus stoppages, a minute left of the 45. Here's Scales, plays it through the air down the left hand side to Nekti with a lovely touch as it came over his shoulder. He's on the touchline, he's riddles out of a really tight spot. The Tunisian, he's done brilliantly. Superb from Tunekti, and Kenny has a stab at it at the near post and can't turn it home. It just will not go in for Celtic in this first half.
Oh, it's a great play from Tunekti down that left hand side, getting the ball into a great position, and there was Johnny Kenny. I'm not sure if he missed it or what happened, but certainly they're on the attack again.
And Tierney out to Tunekti. How he got out of that tight spot, I'll never know. Curls the ball in, and it's straight to Vignetti, the keeper.
Yeah, I would love to see that one again, whether Johnny Kenny missed it and maybe went with the wrong foot. I'm not sure. I'm sure James McFadden in the studio. I think he is he?
I believe so.
He might be seeing it.
Yeah, and he just went with the toe because he was on the stretch, Johnny Kenny, just trying to prod it into the bottom corner. I don't know if the ball actually rolled kind of over the top of his foot because it was flat to the surface. Just trying to toe poke it into the bottom corner. I don't know if he missed it completely or whether it just rolled over his foot. Either way, another chance goes a begging for Celtic to try and get back on level terms. We're going to play 2 added minutes at the end of this first half, and Celtic come forward here, and it was Kenny who was carrying it, and he was dispossessed. McGregor wins it back. Donovan back to McGregor in the centre circle. McGregor to Tierney. Tierney to Tunekti. A man who looks likely to make something happen for Celtic into Hatate, returns it to Tunekti by line, chipped cross, headed by Lavallee, bounces in the box, and it's smashed clear by the goal scorer Horvat. Scales first time back to Tierney, just keeps it in. Tierney with a bouncing ball, it's awkward, he's done well. Tierney heads it to Tunekti, but Stankovic there to win it for Sturm, clears. Celtic have it back straight away.
I've got to say Celtic haven't played that badly in this half. They've created lots of chances just around the edge, just that final ball. Amazing what a goal can do. They find themselves a goal down, which is very unfortunate, I think, and I don't think they deserve to be a goal down, but certainly they have to work really, really hard to put the ball in the back of the net.
Yeah, they have been improved, no doubt, from Sunday, Celtic, but still a goal down and struggling to score. Scales to Tenekti. Keeps running and running and running. Checks back and gives it to Tierney. Tierney waits for the run from Kenny on the far side of the box. Kenny up against Iwu. If it's a sliding challenge in, it will be a Celtic throw on the far side. Iwu is pleading his case that it's a Sturm throw in, but the referee disagrees. And we've played just about the 2 added minutes at the end of this first half, so this will probably be the last play. Can Celtic find the equaliser? Throw to Hatate, controls it on the thigh, but he's shrugged off the ball, and Stankovic clears it off. Hatate, throw in, and there is the half-time whistle. Well, still plenty of time left for Celtic to revive this situation, but it feels like when it rains it pours at the moment at Celtic Park. They've lost 2 players to injury in the opening half. Iheanacho and Alistair Johnson going off in the opening 23 minutes, and in between those 2 unfortunate incidents, Tommy Horvath smashed in an absolute beauty into the top corner to give Sturm Graz the lead. Celtic have had a lot of chances, in fairness. Nygren with a gilt-edged one which he headed wide. Engels had one cleared off the line. He had another good opportunity which was deflected just wide of the post. Kenny's had a couple of chances snuffed out, and it just will not go in. In fairness, Sturm have also hit the post through Kitishvili, and Iwu put one over the top from a set piece which he should have buried. It's been a really entertaining game, but the upshot is Celtic still struggling to score goals. And at the break in the Europa League match day 3, it is Celtic 0, Sturm Graz 1.
Celtic versus Sturm Graz
in the Europa League,
live on Sportsound
on BBC Radio Scotland. She flew across the world for her sister's wedding.
We didn't think you were coming.
Surprise!
But ended up at her funeral.
I'm questioning how and why she fell.
In a community full of secrets, Mia wants answers.
So the policewoman's married to the undertaker?
Yeah.
And the policewoman who doesn't want a post-mortem is the half-sister to the fiancé that was the last person to see my sister alive.
That about sums it up.
How far would you go for family?
Do you know what happened to her up there?
I don't.
Then we have to find out.
The Ridge. Watch all episodes now on BBC iPlayer.
You're listening to European Sports Sound on BBC Radio Scotland with me, Kenny McIntyre, Billy Dodds and James McFadden alongside me in the studio. Our third commentary of the evening. Not a good night so far for Scottish sides. Rangers going down 3-0 away to Brann. Aberdeen 6-0 defeat for them in Greece against AEK Athens, and it's been a disappointing, certainly scoreline. Perhaps the performance hasn't really reflected that from Celtic in the first period at Celtic Park. Celtic 0, Sturm Graz 1. So, Billy Dawes, your thoughts on that first half?
Disappointing in spells for Celtic. They have created chances. I can't say Faddy and I have been watching it. They've played their best. Seem to be lacking a little bit of confidence, but they have created, and at times they've got in behind, especially Tenekti, who looks a live wire again. Faddy doesn't he? And then, but when he gets in, and sometimes Tierney's getting as well, he's fired a couple across, and what a couple was the cutback to start with, but the players were in waiting for the straight pass to try and tap it into the net, and then when he gets in again the next time, the players are in, they stay out this time for the cutback, and he fires it straight across. So it's a bit of both happening for Celtic at the just the crucial times. Kenny's had a shot, Nygren with a header as well, cleared off the line. Kenny missed a contact when they get in behind again with another cross. They can't say they've not had service, James, but Sturm Graz could have scored a couple of goals as well. They got one, which was a brilliant strike. Tierney was slack, gives the ball away in the middle of the park, and they just go forward 2 passes, and then they just bang it right in the top corner. Horban, what a strike it was. And then they hit the post after it. So all in all, disappointing so far, because it's another Scottish team who haven't scored, and they're down a goal, but they have had their moments. Celtic,
they have. I think that disruption of Iheanacho going off early. Certainly, Johnny Kenny's come on and he's had a couple of half chances, couple of chances, and then Alistair Johnston, a huge blow. Great to see him back in the side. To see him go off what looks like hamstring again is a huge blow. But I think, Dodge is right. I think that Celtic have got in really good areas, and it's maybe just that final pass, and whether it's a decision of the cross or the run, they're just not getting that right. But it might be a case of going in and saying, look, there's enough there to suggest if you keep getting in those areas, can you keep flashing the crosses across, and maybe you'll get a bit of luck. So they have had opportunities, but it's still 1-0. They're still down, and that's it still needs to be improvement for me. I agree with you, Billy. I think Tenekte, when he's up high and getting 1v1 and even 1v2, he can deal with that no problem. He can cause problems because he likes to drive into the box. He likes to commit defenders. Sometimes he was coming a bit deep earlier in the game, and that would have been a delight for Sturm Graz because he is causing all sorts of problems when he gets on the ball and around the box.
James and Billy will be with me right through until 11 o'clock here on BBC Radio Scotland. Some fans will join us between 10 and 11, and what we'll do, we'll bring you the post-match media conferences. Obviously Brendan Rodgers, Jimmy Tleen and Danny Rule. Obviously we'll hear from him, his first match in charge of Rangers tonight. Just on that, we also get the chance to speak to some of the players. It was called the Mix Zone after the game. Just seen some very strong comments from James Tavernier. The worst performance in his time at the club, according to James Tavernier. So stay tuned for that. It's going to be strong. I say we'll get some fan reaction late in the programme. That's really important to get that. Speaking of the fans, Pat, we're obviously back here in the studio. What's the reception been like there towards the end of the half at Celtic Park? It's been a strange night, quite a good first half performance.
Yeah.
But Celtic find themselves behind.
Yeah, no, I think they're behind the team still. Obviously they're a goal down. That's frustration. They were very frustrated at times when Celtic got into really good positions, and they kind of almost hesitated. There was an opportunity to have a few strikes at goal from the edge of the box, and they elected to take a touch or an extra pass, and the fans were up on edge. The one where Alistair Johnston actually got injured, I don't know whether Hatate realised that he was injured at that point, but he was in a great position to drive forward, and he elects to turn back and pass the ball back to Alistair Johnston, and then he goes down, and the fans were really, really annoyed with that. Now, obviously, then they had to consider that Alistair Johnston was injured, and that took the heat out of it. But that's the kind of frustration only from the fans at times. But I think in the main, they've been they'll be much more happy with the way that Celtic have actually played. Just putting out how a team needs a goal. It's incredible. I was going to ask James, just on that chance for Johnny Kenny, did he miss it or did he not make what happened for that one across the near post? We can't see from where we are because there was a defender himself running towards that post.
Yeah, I think he did miss it. I don't know if because Tenekte goes down the outside, chops back onto his right. I don't know. I need to see it again whether, because we've only had one replay, whether he makes the run expecting the cross with the right foot, then he checks with his back onto his left and flashes it across. He does make that run across the near post. He's well marshalled, I have to say, with the defender, and I think he does just miss it. I don't know how much he could get on it to trouble the goalkeeper. Right. But it does look like he just misses it and can't quite get the contact on it. But he's alert. He anticipates that's where it's going. He just can't quite get the contact.
Yeah, because obviously I come back again to players that have left the club. Kyogo, that's where he made his trademark, wasn't he, when he came to the club first? Getting across the defender, getting on that near post, and that makes up the mind of the player on the ball, and that's missing. I see that's kind of almost missing at the moment. The player on the ball, they don't know what to do. You described it really well. 1 minute as a cut back, players in the wrong position. Next one's driven across, players waiting for a cut back. So whatever relationship they have, it's just not working among the players at the moment in that vital area inside the box.
They can't get in sync a couple of times, Pat. You feel that way? They've got in behind and they've cut it back, and the players have gone in just to tap it in, as I said. And then the next time the players have stayed out, think they're going to cut it back, and they flash it across. So it's just maybe getting one in and one stay out, and then I think they'll get a finish at some point.
Yeah. for sure they have to stay what they're doing at this moment in time. If they drop off anything at all, this team can hurt them. But I think this team, if they lose a goal, they could be vulnerable. But Celtic just put the ball in the back of the net, changes the game.
Yeah, just watching replays of Iheanacho, Pat, very frustrated, as you'd expect, and also Alistair Johnson, as Faddy said there, pulling up. That doesn't look good, but the lack of options.
Just on Iheanacho, it was right from the very, very first whistle. The ball's played down the channel.
Yeah.
And I don't know whether he went to sprint and he pulled it at that point, but he didn't run properly, and then he didn't close down properly.
He didn't chase it down, Pat, did he? Because when he put it inside, put it behind the defenders, run towards his own goal, and I was actually thinking, why is he trying to put him under a bit of pressure?
Yeah. Absolutely. I was going to say that myself, but it was so early in the game. You say now, well, okay, maybe he's just thinking about trying to get into the game, but he was gone at that stage, and that was the very first run he made.
It's a body blow, Kenny, because obviously, especially for tonight, but it doesn't look as if they'll be making Sunday either.
No, and that is a huge blow. That game on Sunday, full coverage in sports. I think none of us can wait for that one to happen at Tynecastle. Hearts against Celtic, James. But it just shows you just how few options the manager has up the top of the park right now.
Yeah, it does. I mean, we've spoken about the recruitment this summer. And the fact that they are short in the attacking areas. Negrin's playing in the right. That's the first one. Then Iheanacho needs to come off, and it's only Kenny that can come on. So look, it is a worry for Celtic. I think it was always going to be the case. When Adam Idah goes, add to the fact Kyogo had gone in January and hadn't been replaced. I know Shin's come in. I don't know where he is. I know he maybe not been the European squad. I don't mean just tonight. I just mean in general. Mm-hmm. But they've not replaced Kyogo for a start. Then you go into the season signing Iheanacho, who's not up to speed, and the reliance is then on him, solely on him to be fit. He can't play every game, so he's had to go off early tonight. As Pat said, it's not even like I was watching it. I never noticed any incident where something went. It was just in that same movement where I'm thinking, you can press this, you can go and chase, and it didn't look like he was limping or struggling. It just looked like he didn't want to chase it, but then clearly he's got an issue. So it is a worry. It is a worry for Celtic. It was always going to be a worry because they've left themselves short.
Yeah, James, they've got three full-backs and two centre-halves and a goalkeeper on the bench. Yes, they needed a full-back. They've got one striker.
Pat, how concerned are you right now with the situation at Celtic, both on and off the park? Nothing seems to be in sync right now.
No, it's not happening for them, and they've worked really hard to get through this period. We talked about it before the game. And it is a worrying time. Tonight is a must-win. Now they're a goal behind. Now they're hoping to at least get back into the game early on and try to win it. But if it longer goes on, they'll take a draw. But that's not good enough. That's not good enough at the moment. And they've got these games coming up now. Huge, absolutely huge for them. And the season's getting into a real critical point, and it's only early in the season for Celtic. It's amazing how it's all turned around and all gone pear-shaped for them. All from, yes, a bad window, you've got to say, a really bad window, and then all of course the fans aren't happy there, and that's affecting the morale of everybody around the place. And I don't know how they're going to fix it now, to be perfectly honest, because now they've lost two key players. Maeda's injured also. They don't have a lot on the bench to go to in that critical situation. So everybody's got to hang in there as well as they can and try somehow to get. I know, listen, we've all been there before, in jobs that we've been in where you haven't been winning games, and one result can turn around, a couple of goals can turn things around and build up the confidence. But hard work, that's what it's all about.
Yeah, we'll hear from Brendan Rodgers post-match. He had plenty to say, of course, yesterday. He stood by his comments, the comparison with the Honda Civic and the Ferrari. That certainly drew criticism from former Celtic manager Martin O'Neill, but Brendan Rodgers wasn't for backing down. But it'll be interesting to get the reaction from the Celtic fan that will join us later on. But surely the Celtic manager has got to be doing a whole lot better right now, Bill. He's spoken a lot about, he said this countless times, this is what I've got, it's up to me to make the players better, the situation better. The first half year has been okay. There's not an awful lot of evidence to suggest that they are on track for improvement.
I think in this game they're doing what they can. I think, but it never rains but it pours, because 1 minute Brendan's saying about just move on, I've got what I've got, then he throws out the Honda Civic quote, then they go another goal down tonight, and he said that against opposition like Dundee, when I think he should be waiting to European games if he's going to use the Honda Civic, and that's without worrying what his players think. And then on top of that, Maeda looks out Johnson and Iheanacho, so the problems are mounting. So it's not going to get better until he gets players back. But first and foremost, short term, he's got to get a win soon and get them going again.
Yeah, listen, Scottish football needs a win. We'll discuss this in the programme on Saturday, no doubt at all about that. But Rangers will hear from Danny Rule later in the programme. Say strong comments from the Rangers captain James Tavernier after their 3-0 defeat in Norway, a 6-0 defeat for the Dons away at AEK Athens. So plenty for us to reflect on, and plenty for Celtic to do in this second half if they're to get themselves back into this huge European game for Brendan Rodgers' side. A reminder, we're on air right through until 11 o'clock on BBC Radio Scotland. Managerial reaction and some fans will join us. James McFadden and Billy Dodds will stay on for that. So back to our commentary team at Celtic Park. Celtic against Sturm Graz in the Europa League with Pat Bonnet and Thomas Duncan.
Thanks, Kenny. Celtic back out. Sturm Graz still to emerge from the dressing room as they aim to become the first side since Barcelona in 2007-2008 to beat both of the old firm in the same season in Europe. Not many get the chance to do it, of course, but Sturm do in this campaign. Already dispatched Rangers 2-1 in Graz, 1-0 up at the break here at Celtic Park as they now come back out onto the pitch and try and finish the job. No changes from either side, it looks like. Oh no, there is going to be a change in fact. For at right back for Sturm Graz, Jalen Mitchell is going to come on, and it's going to be Tim Uhrmann, the right back, as I said, to go off. So, as I said, he is more naturally a centre back, been playing at right back. German under-21 international, played in the Euros final against England over the summer. He's off, and Jalen Mitchell signed in the summer there. Made his debut against Rangers. He's on loan from Feyenoord, so he's on. And Sturm make the one change. Celtic, of course, forced into the two changes before the break. Johnston injured, Donovan on, Iheanacho injured, and Johnny Kenny on as Iwo slides in, hits off Engels, breaks for Rio Tati, lovely touch on, he smashed it over the bar. Brilliant chance.
What a chance. Comes on, flicks it over the defender onto his left foot from about 18 yards out, just on the edge of the penalty box. He volleys it, and it's just gone a foot or so over the crossbar. It would have been a wonderful start for Celtic.
It was a really clever touch inside the defender, first of all, when I thought he was maybe initially going to pull the trigger, and then it just fell for him to hit, and he just couldn't keep it down. Rio Hatate. Chance for Celtic in the opening 25 seconds of the second half. Sturm playing it out from the back. Kidishvili first time around the corner. Tierney will mop that up though. Then Tanecki. It's loose in fields. Sturm usher it out for a throw-in. Tierney launches it back to Liam Scales. And Carter Vickers. Celtic lose here tonight. The Europa League campaign becomes, well, very much incredibly difficult. To go to Midtjylland and then Feyenoord and then Roma here at Celtic Park. As Sturm come forward and Roscoe goes down, and that looked like a good challenge from Callum McGregor. Got the toe in. I thought he got the ball, but
I think initially I thought it was a foul, but the referee let it go on. He tried to pull him back, and then eventually it was a good tackle, as you rightly say, Thomas, from Callum McGregor. But I just think he gave the benefit of doubt to the player from the initial one.
Well, we know Tommy Horvat's capable from here as he lines up the free kick now. It's out towards the left corner of the box, about 10 yards, 25, 26 yards out, and he's going to cross it, I think, to the back post. No, he bends it into towards the near post, and it's actually a good save from Schmeichel. Had to get across quickly and touch it round the post.
He obviously seen a gap, just bent it around the wall to the near post, and Schmeichel had to make the save. I don't know whether the wall was set up properly, but normally you wouldn't be able to bend it that easily around the wall.
He wrapped his left foot around it, went round the outside of the wall. Corner for Sturm Graz. Outswinger and a header from Stankovic. Oh, I thought that was in.
I thought it was in too. I was just going to say, oh my word, it was a ball swung in from the corner and it just sort of almost dipped out. I don't know why the referee is stopping that. It was a quick goal kick again, and he stopped the play. Still, he want to get on with the game, but just go back to the header. The header, he's kind of almost stooping down to get a header on it, and it's just kind of looped around Schmeichel, and Schmeichel's almost going the wrong way, and I thought it was in the back of the net, and it just goes nips round the right hand post. Celtic let off.
Celtic with the first chance of the second half, but Sturm Graz coming back with two. It's kind of been like that in this game, blow for blow, but Sturm Graz who've managed to take one of theirs, and it wasn't even really a chance, just a long distance shot from Horvat into the top corner after 15 minutes. Here's Liam Scales out to Tinekti. Tierney's made the run, he comes infield, doesn't really have many options near him infield, he has to fire it across the Carter Vickers. Moves it on to Donovan to Nygren.
Yeah, but this is the problem, Nygren playing out on that side there. He has to come on the inside.
On an underhit ball from Hatate to Donovan, and the linesman flag goes up anyway. Sturm Graz get the throw in on the far side after it's cleared out, but yeah, it's frustration for Celtic there. Just the loose passes at the crucial moment as they're building pressure. Hatate guilty that time, and it's Carter Vickers gives it to Donovan, who's going to throw this in now after Sturm Graz couldn't make the most of theirs on the far side as they tried to exit their half. Celtic throw it in down the line, and Nygren's made a good run, and then he hooks it towards the box, and it's gone behind for a goal kick to the visitors.
Yeah, again, obviously not a strong foot, just couldn't play the pass properly. Frustration again for the crowd down that right hand side.
Both these sides, of course, played in the Champions League phase last season. Sturm Graz finished 6 points below Celtic, 30th in the table, just the 2 wins, also against RB Leipzig as Celtic did, and the other against Bojan Miovski's Girona. As Tierney takes and drives past Horvat, he's not managed to shake him off just yet, and then he fires a low ball into the middle of the pitch at the edge of the box. Sliding challenge from Sturm, and then Iwu clears as far as Donovan. There's Tinekti actually who's back there, and then it's bouncing about, and Sturm Graz pick it up through Karic, gives it to Kitishvili in the centre circle, the Georgian lays it to Chukwani stops and gives it back to Otar Kitishvili, who rattled the outside of the post in the first half as Sturm Graz looked to add to their opening goal. Iwu, they go all the way back to Vignetti, the goalkeeper. Quite a lot of the urgency in their attack is kind of gone since they took the leads. Still look dangerous in flashes. Well, right here it goes to Malone, or towards Malone, but Carter Vickers got in front. Schmeichel, and that was just in front of Otar Kitishvili. That pass found Scales, who moves up towards halfway. Scales curls it to Donovan. Pass is over halfway to Nygren. He's got a bit of space to run here, the Swede. Corner of the area, step over, good challenge. Excellent timing from Karic. And now it's Malone out to Rosgat. Drops the shoulder and comes in field. Malone beats Scales to the ball, and then his layoff back to Rosgat is intercepted.
You know, that was a time that Nygren just had to slow down because he had Donovan bombing up his outside, and all he do is just slow down and play him in. Instead he tries to beat the player, and it was gone.
Engels edge of the box to Tinekti. Little roll with the studs, takes on his man and tries to stand it to the back post, but floats harmlessly behind for a goal kick. Celtic 0, Sturm Graz 1.
Yeah, it's really frustrating, you know. That would have been a great start if they got that early goal from Hatate, but you know, they're getting into decent positions right and left, just not the execution is not there at the moment. I don't know what's going on now between the referee and the assistant over in that far corner. Both of them are having a deep conversation, something going on.
Yeah, I don't know what that's about over on the far side. As Fatty says, the referee has gone across. Deep conversation with the far side linesman. The referees are all from Spain tonight. Juan Martin Munuera is the referee. I don't think anyone is sure what's going on.
No, but the players aren't even, you know what I mean? Obviously, I don't know whether the assistant is struggling or whether it's a communication issue, but something definitely has happened.
He's holding his shoulder, though, the linesman. I don't know if he's trying to adjust the comms he's got running from his ear down to his shoulder or whatever, but we'll see. The referee is moved back into the middle and I think is okay to continue. And now the crowd, I think, just getting a bit frustrated, and eventually the referee waves for this goal kick to be taken, and it's long towards Malone. Scales wins the header. Tenekti in the chest as he was going back to goal, bounces about horribly in midfield, and it's picked up by Chukwani, and then Rozga, and out to Horvat, infield to Chukwani, passes behind Kitishvili. He's done so brilliantly to retain that and pass it forward, but eventually Sturm lose it. Here's Tenekti, brilliant away from Chukwani, and then prods the pass, but it's a foul from Rozga on Hatate. Celtic free kick. Tenekti, such a live wire for Celtic on that left hand side. Just maybe needs to learn to.
Yeah, but all the play in the first half was down this left hand side, very little on the right hand side.
Engels, Hatate returns it to Engels, but it's far too far in front, and Hatate keeps trying those kind of little first time passes around the corner, but they're not going to teammates, and now the break is on. It's 2-on-1 in Celtic's favour, and Carter Vickers is able to get in front of Malone yet again and goes back to Schmeichel.
Yeah, and there was a great opportunity there for Rozga, the young lad, 19. He broke away from Carter, or from McGregor in the middle of the pitch. It almost was a 2v1 situation, and he just hit the pass too early, and Carter Vickers was able to deal with it.
McGregor to Tierney in central midfield, out to Tenekti. Hatate now. Tierney back out to Tenekti, up against Mitchell. Tenekti inside, and Mitchell has a pull at him there, and gives the pass to Hatate. It's now back with Tenekti via Tierney. Tenekti, this time he's closed down by Horvat. He's won it back and then hooks it back to Tierney. It's like a one-man band there. Sebastian Tenekti didn't get much help, and now Sturm Graz have it. Kitishvili to Horvat, crosses halfway. Malone's the only man in front of him, carries it down the right-hand side, and he goes between Tierney and McGregor. Engel shuts down the space, and it's back to Chukwani, and then off to Karic on the left-hand side. Forward pass is poor, and Carter Vickers fires it to Johnny Kenny. Lays it back to Hatate, who takes on Stankovic, who blatantly pulls him back, and that will be the first yellow card of the evening at Celtic Park for the Sturm Graz captain.
Yeah, professional foul, middle of the pitch, because he knew he was done. Hatate was going to drive forward, and he was out of position, so he takes him down, kills the game.
Yeah, knew what he was doing. Jon Goran Stankovic, 29 years old. He's a Slovenian international. As Carter Vickers was fooled there, but advantage being played to Celtic as he crossed halfway. Scales with the long ball. Nygren's made the one. It's Benjamin Nygren, and again he gets his header all wrong. He just had the goalkeeper to beat, and once again Benjamin Nygren ends up with a good chance, but putting his hands on his head in frustration.
Oh my word, what a great ball from Liam Scales, right through the middle. He's in, and all he's got to do is keep his eye on the ball, play it onto the target, at least make the goalkeeper make a save. I think he's looking for the goalkeeper to come and hit him, and he then just loses sight of the ball, but it was easier to hit the target from that position.
Long from Vignetti. Celtic haven't tested him enough for all their good chances. Off target too many times. Scales heads it forwards. Nygren wins that and gets the return from Engels. Nygren up against Lavalley, gets a foot in and he's dispossessed, and the free kick then goes in Sturm Graz's favour as Nygren is all over the back of the Belgian defender. And Nygren you just tell he's not a winger in those positions because he's not going by his man.
He can't go by the man, he's not that type of player. He's an inside right a runner into the box, and on occasions he has been in the box today. He's been wanting from a final finish, but when he gets the ball to his feet, that's not his position.
Kitashvili wriggles out of a tight spot there, but he's given it away to Engels. There's going to be a couple of changes coming for Sturm Graz. Sidi Yata and Jakob Peter Hurdle are stripped and ready, but on we go for the moment. Benjamin Nygren on the far side takes it infield, gives it to Engels. Engels again trying to return a pass. It was a difficult pass anyway, and he didn't get anywhere near it. Carter Vickers aggressive in the challenge on Malone, too aggressive, takes him down, and it's a free kick, and it's going to be a yellow card for the Celtic defender.
Yeah, it was a rash tackle, wasn't it? You know, he doesn't even make contact with the ball, you know, and it ends up in the referee's book. And yeah, but again, Engels picking up a great position. Donovan again, when Nygren gets the ball on the inside, Donovan's making that run down the outside of him, and it's a simple ball for me, but he's so much on his left foot that he can't take it on his right and slide that ball down, so he doesn't actually even see him. And then it goes to Engels, and he tries to pass to Donovan, but it was never on.
So these changes coming now for Sturm Graz, both in attacking areas. Philip Rosga and Maurice Malone are going off. Jakob Peter Hurdle, the Austrian under-19 international, just 18 years old, is on. And Sidi Yata, the Norwegian striker with 5 goals and 14 appearances this season, is also on. Scored in the crucial win against RB Salzburg earlier this season in the Bundesliga for Sturm Graz. So manager Jürgen Sommel just freshening things up in attack for Sturm. We have played 14 minutes of the second half, 59 on the clock, and it is still Celtic 0, Sturm Graz 1, and Celtic really should have scored in this game. They've had a lot of chances. Nygren's had 2 golden chances with his head, unable to put either of them on target. Engels had one cleared off the line as well. And Tenekti has misjudged that, and it falls to Jalen Mitchell. Low cross, Tierney blocks it, Horvath cuts it back, Kitashvili at the edge of the box, sends it over the top of the crossbar.
What an effort to try and head a ball, my word.
Yeah, he was caught under that, Tenekti, and that's why he's not a left back. Free kick to Celtic.
But when you go in there, you've got to do your defensive duties.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. At the end of the day, that's part and parcel of the game. It's not all attacking.
Yeah, he certainly didn't keep his eye on it. Free kick to Celtic on the far side. Donovan fouled, and they play it short. Carter Vickers to Engels, and McGregor back to Carter Vickers in their own half. Celtic. Carter Vickers with a switch out to Tierney, just over halfway. Tierney slides it to Tenekti. Tenekti back to Tierney. Tierney is going to go on the outside of Horvath. Step over and stops. And he's just hesitant to put the afterburners on Kieran Tierney. Kieran Tierney of old would have just driven for the byline there.
Yeah, and I thought he had his opposition player beaten, and he's past him, and he just checks back.
Here's Nygren coming in from the right hand side. Back to Hatate. Hatate, inside ball to McGregor. Good feed from Callum McGregor. Lays it off to Donovan. Brilliant ball, Nygren, and it's saved by the goalkeeper. Another golden opportunity for Benjamin Nygren, and Beignetti keeps it out.
I don't think the ball's ever going to go in the net for them.
Now it's Donovan. There's a quick corner, side foot. It's in!
Scales.
Liam Scales scores for Celtic.
Wow.
Finally, Celtic find the back of the net, and it is Liam Scales who has done it. Side-footed, cam finish, and it is Celtic 1, Sturm Graz 1.
Well, just as I said, I'd never go to net. A centre half steps up to do the business, shows the forwards, shows those attackers how it's done. And Nygren had a big chance just before. They take the quick corner, and eventually then Scales does absolutely fantastic to get side foot, guides it into the corner net, and that gives him a real chance now.
Well, the energy in this place changed, but here is Kitashvili. Liam Scales with his second goal of the season, and what a calm finish it was from the Irishman. As Hatate plays it to Tierney, and now can they go on and clinch victory? Celtic, plenty of time left. They really need to win if they want to get themselves up this Europa League table. Just the 1 point so far. They've got a moment finally to build on. Tenekti, one-on-one with Mitchell. Inside, then out. Tenekti. He's not got any help at the moment. Stands it up to the back post. Nygren's there on the chest. That looked like a handball for the defender. It's cut back, deflected behind. Corner kick to Celtic. And the Celtic players are appealing for it now.
It looked like it's obviously the referee's pointing to his chest. That it came off the defender's chest, but it just drops behind the defender. Nygren gets it, plays it against him. At one moment it looked as if it was going to be a handball, but the referee called it absolutely. He's standing beside it, but it will be checked, and it's going to be checked, I think.
Yeah, the VAR is Carlos del Ferro Grande.
No, it's not a handball.
Not a handball, according to the officials. So we don't have the monitor in front of us here. I'll trust their judgment for now. Celtic have a corner. It's Engels, in-swinger with the right foot, right on top of the goalkeeper, it's in! Celtic have scored again, and it's Benjamin Nygren this time! He's had chance after chance with that head, and this time he takes one! Celtic have turned it around! Celtic 2, Sturm Graz 1!
Chance after chance after chance after chance, and then he puts it in from a corner. Unbelievable, from almost 4 yards out. Young goalkeeper, I think, is caught flailing. I did say early in the game, didn't I? Put that ball in there, test the goalkeeper, see what he's made of. That ball swung right into the 6-yard box, 3 or 4 yards out, and there was Nygren. Got away from the defender, the goalkeeper. I don't know what he's doing. He comes, he's almost standing and trying to do something. He should have been attacking the ball, but Nygren had the easiest chance this time. He couldn't for sure fail this time. It hits it on the head and goes into the back of the net. But that puts Celtic into a great position now, 2-1. Can they go on and win this game now easy?
Well, this has been a tale of persistence from Celtic tonight, and in particular from Benjamin Nygren. And the fans are going berserk here as they want Sturm Graz to get on with it.
The thing about Nygren, he gets into those positions for a midfielder, that's for sure. Might not have the quality out on the right-hand side, but he certainly never gives up, and he keeps going and going and going, and he gets himself into those positions, and he misses them, but he gets on the end of a very important one this time.
Oh, and Johnny Kenny's won it, and Johnny Kenny has Nygren in front. Oh, Mitchell with a challenge, and the referee's happy with it. I think he did get the ball there.
Yeah, he could have slid him in. Johnny Kenny should have slid him in a wee bit quicker. I think he's tried to control the ball when he shouldn't have. Just put it into the path of Nygren, who's again up beside him running. 5 goals for Benjamin Nygren this season, Celtic's top scorer. And a good pass through for Kenny, and then he's again tried to play in Nygren, but it's a poor one. Yeah, this time he's probably done it too early.
Yeah, he had more time.
He's obviously spooked from the last one where he probably should have done it, and he's tried it this time, but it wasn't on. He was unbalanced when he went to pass the ball. Good game now. The game's heated up. Obviously, Sturm Graz has got to come and try and get a goal. They're capable.
Oh, they have a free kick here on the far side, right on the edge of Celtic's box. Foul there, Kitisvili. So Celtic are 2 goals in 3 minutes to turn the game on its head, but far from out of the woods just yet. As Horvat takes his strides backwards, and Celtic Park re-energised, but hushed slightly.
Yeah, I don't like the edge of the box here, I'll tell you. It's on for a cutback. Yeah, the edge of the box. There's nobody out there.
There's 3 of them. It goes into the box, and Nygren's back again with his head away. There's Kitisvili, scoops it back into the area, and that looked like a foul from Chukwani. It was on Johnny Kenny. Celtic free kick in their own box, and that attack from Sturm comes to an end. Well, at least we've had a couple of goals from a Scottish side in Europe this evening, and with any luck, a victory. But still work to do for Celtic, though they have come from behind. Engels curls it forwards. Lavallee sends it back. Yatta, a substitute, battling for it. Donovan clears, comes back. Chukwani flicks on, then Hatate off the top of his head. That was Messi. Now it breaks for Stankovic in the Celtic half. Stankovic to Kitishvili, and back to Iwu, the centre-back. And Sturm Graz really, I don't want to say they stopped playing after going a goal up, but Celtic have been the dominant side ever since, and you felt that they were looking to drop the tempo, and now Celtic have sucker punched them twice in 3 minutes, and they're got a different question to answer here. Offsides against Peter Hudel.
Yeah, what Celtic can't do now is drop off and allow them to get good possession, control the ball, because Kitishvili, you know, he's a good player getting in between the lines, and he's dangerous. So they've got to keep the momentum up and go and press higher up the pitch. Don't allow them to dictate the game.
Iwu knocks it back to Vignetti, the goalkeeper. Scales underneath it, another offside, this time against Hideyata. Celtic will have a free kick just shy of the centre circle. McGregor takes it short to Carter Vickers. Celtic moving towards a first Europa League victory of the season, first European victory overall. And Scales got the scoring underway eventually. Carter Vickers out to Donovan. Back to Carter Vickers, and all the way back to Schmeichel. Yata closes down, but rather jogging, and Scales has it now. Scales for McGregor. McGregor to Tierney. Tierney on halfway, up to Tenecti, and that pass has gone out. And Celtic just a bit more hesitant in the last couple of minutes.
Yeah, I think he, if anything, I would be looking maybe at replacing Atati in the middle of the pitch and get a little bit more energy. McCowan maybe in there, and that.
Yeah, Bernardo's back from illness as well on the bench for Celtic. Austin Trusty is also there. Not that he's a midfielder, but just missing the last 10 games with an injury. It is Kieran Tierney with a throw-in his own half, goes up the line. Won by Mitchell, heads it infield, then Chukwani helps it on with his head. McGregor wins the seconds, then Stankovic, then Kitishvili, head tennis here in the Celtic half. Scales as it drops, and he's found Hatate, then Tenecti, and that's a lovely return for Hatate, then squeezes it past to Kenny. Oh, it's well read by Lavallee as the pass return for Hatate, and then Chukwani is... Oh, it's a red card! Chukwani on McGregor, and suddenly luckless Celtic in the first half, everything going their way now.
Yeah, it's one of them where McGregor, the ball drops between the two players. McGregor goes to almost smash it, and Chukwemeni, he almost lifts his foot up to try to block McGregor's strike, and the ball bypasses, and then of course, because your foot is high, you're catching the player. I don't think he's caught him too badly. I think McGregor will be okay, but it's one of these you're dicing what a sending off in that situation, and that's what's happened here.
Well, this is a boon for Celtic as long as Callum McGregor gets to his feet, which he hasn't done just yet. The Celtic captain, who I have to say has put in a really good performance tonight, especially going back the way at times, getting back in and sweeping up when Sturm Graz have looked to break. Celtic taking on the water now, and some instructions from Brendan Rodgers. Kasper Schmeichel's come all the way out his goal, and the Sturm Graz players are just trying to plead the case for Chukwani to the referee, but the decision is made. The VAR will check it. I have to say, I'd followed the ball there, so I didn't really see that. I just saw at the corner of my eye McGregor going flying, and he is back on his feet. Callum McGregor moving slightly gingerly, but he looks okay.
Yeah, I think he was okay. I think it's one of them where McGregor's gone to smash the ball, and because the player is almost trying to block it, but he doesn't make any contact with the ball, and then he catches McGregor, but his foot's high from that perspective, and that's why he probably was sent off. You would be annoyed yourself probably if he was one of your players maybe getting sent off, but the referee was close by.
Celtic 2-1 up, and now we'll play the last 20, potentially with a man advantage. Sturm Graz down to 10.
Well, Celtic just got to keep that ball moving, and don't delay on it. Just keep the ball moving off their first, second passes. They've got an extra man. They should be able to dictate this game now.
Carter Vickers controls, gives it to Colby Donovan. Back to Carter Vickers. Callum McGregor. Out to Colby Donovan on the right hand side. Then Nygren, one of 2 Celtic goal scorers, into Engels on the corner of the box. Controlled well and offloaded now. Low cross. Lavallée is at the near post, hooks it into the night sky and out for a throw in on the far side.
Young Donovan puts a good ball in from that side, doesn't he? You know, he whoops them in from a very deep angle.
Tierney slides the inside ball for Tenecti to chase it. Oh, he just about got onto it, but Mitchell got the foot in, and then there's a foul from Tenecti as he tried to go after it. Second attempt. And it is Celtic 2, Sturm Graz 1 after 73 minutes. Turnaround in this second half. Scales and Nygren scoring in the space of 3 minutes. Carter Vickers wins that near. Nygren down to the feet of McGregor. Offloads to Engels and then out to Tierney. Kieran Tierney. He asked for Tenecti to come short, and then he barrels round and gives it to Scales, then McGregor.
Just keep that ball moving a little bit quicker. They're always slowing it down at the back, Celtic, and allowing Sturm Graz players to get into positions. They're a man down. There's plenty of space to exploit if you do it quick.
Tenecti is pulled across right onto the touchline here, asking for the ball. It's going to the other side. Out to Donovan. Donovan to Nygren. First time to Engels, first time back to Donovan. He's got 3 black jerseys round him, but forces the pass away to Carter Vickers. Now Scales. Scales to Tierney. Tierney to Tenecti. Tenecti, Tierney goes in the overlap. Tenecti drives inside. 1-2 with Hatate, then to McGregor. Back to goal, then turns, gives it to Tenecti, and then out to Donovan. Donovan crosses from deep. It's a really high one to the back post, and then it comes off Tierney's head, and it's going to break back for the left back. Tierney to Hatate. Hatate was under pressure, but he's managed to get to the byline. Brilliant from Rio Hatate. Cuts it back, and then McGregor was had his back to goal, and it was an awkward one to take, and Sturm Graz are able to clear downfield. 2-1 to Celtic.
Initially, I think Tati was taken by surprise that he got the ball inside the box, but he did well to get to the byline. Just crowded out. There wasn't somebody to pick out.
Tati gets the pass away under pressure to Donovan, and down the line to Nygren. Nygren to Engels. Nygren again. McGregor. Carter Vickers. Scales. Scales to Tierney. Tierney and Tenecti. Here is Tenecti. Tenecti back to Tierney. Flashed across, deflected into the side netting. Corner kick.
Yeah, just believe in it. You know, sometimes when you're a man goal up and an extra man, you can almost want to just keep the ball, but believe that it can go and get another goal here just to settle this game.
Arne Engels goes across. Scored from this near side through Engels' delivery onto the head of Nygren eventually. And it looks like Michel-Ange Balakusha is going to come on for Celtic in a moment. Not quite yet, but he's just emerging from the bench. Engels corner, same place. Nygren goes up on the goalkeeper again. This time the keeper gets a glove on it. Hatate under pressure from Kitashvili, and he's done well there.
Yeah, he does under severe pressure. He did really, really well.
Donovan in the centre circle to Scales. Tenecti is asking for it. It's going to go the other way to Carter Vickers. Carter Vickers to Scales. Now Tenecti, and this time the ball goes. And again, it's a one-on-one situation for the Celtic winger. Oh, he's left the ball behind. Manages to retrieve it, give it to Tierney. Opportunity to take on his man is gone. No, Hatate leaves that for Engels, and then out to Donovan. It's all the way back. And then to Nygren. Nygren down to Donovan. Donovan low cross. Lavallée again well stationed to deal with that. Passes it out to Karic on the near side, and Sturm Graz are able to clear up the touchline. Celtic 2, Sturm Graz 1. And we've got 14 minutes of the 90 to play. Sturm Graz down to 10.
Yeah, difficult for Sturm Graz now to get any possession, but Celtic just have got to turn the screw here, I think. You know, they're moving the ball quite well. There will be some big up. Oh, it's a chance.
And third goal, you think, would give them the win that they so crave in this Europa League campaign. Horvat, good feet, and curls it out to Kitashvili. It's forced to turn back by Nygren, and then back to Karic at left back, forwards, Horvat between the lines, and he's dancing towards the edge of the box here, and he goes for distance again, and why not, given what he did in the first half, but this one sails into the stands.
Yeah, really clever though, he got into a great position. Obviously Kvaratskhelia moves out onto the left position, and then he takes up his position in that number 10, and he gets in between the lines, and he's a dangerous player. We've seen what he can do in the first half.
Sebastian Tinekti is coming off for Michel Ange-Balikwisha, and Leon Grigic, the Croatia under-21 international, 19 years old, is coming on for Otar Kitishvili for Sturm Graz. So both sides freshening up the attacking players. Tinekti with another good performance. You feel if he can learn and build on his end product, he could be a real player for Celtic.
Yeah, listen, he's the one player that is creative and is a real threat when he gets the ball. Balikwisha now comes into the team, and he's got to do a turn for them. Yeah, I'd seen him stretch in a wee while to Tinekti.
Tierney. Balikwisha's made the run beyond, and Tierney has played the ball. Good defending from Iwu. The centre-back came across, plays it out for a throw-in on this near side. Celtic 2, Sturm Graz 1, live on Sportsound on BBC Sound and BBC Radio Scotland. After defeats for Rangers and Aberdeen earlier tonight. It's offsides against Balikwisha. Sturm Graz free kick. 11.5 minutes of the normal 90 minutes remaining. We'll get stoppages, of course. And Celtic, what a win it would be. Morale booster. First in the Europa League would take them on to 4 points and push them up the table and build some much needed momentum for the visit to Tynecastle on Sunday, which of course is live right here on Sportsound. Huge game in the Premiership. Donovan crosses halfway, overhit pass as Nygren ran across. Out for a Sturm Graz throw-in. Celtic could just get a third goal. This arena would breathe a lot easier.
Yeah, a third goal would settle things for them, but they still should be in a position here with about 10, 12, maybe 13 minutes. There will be a bit of because the referee and the linesman got into a big conversation about something, so that was a delay also, and then with the substitutions, so there will be extra time.
Well, Horvat's touch as Sturm break. He's still going, little nutmeg. Such a clever player, and then Balikwisha gets back, and that's a brilliant challenge. Got the shoulder in, but crucially the right boot as well to take it off Horvat's toes as he threatened to unlock the Celtic defence. Hatate away from the Slovenian.
Yeah, it was good tracking from Balikwisha there, because Horvat had to pass on out to the left-hand side for the substitution in order to come on the pitch, and he was free. And he just delayed a little bit too long on it, and Balikwisha got in with a vital interception.
Liam Scales to Hatate. Hatate to Carter Vickers. Out to Colby Donovan. And then Nygren. Nygren infield to Engels and McGregor. McGregor back out to Engels. Engels has got space to cross from deep. He sends it in. Brilliant ball, and Kenny puts it over the top on the stretch.
Oh my word, sorry Thomas there, it was another great ball in, wasn't it, from Engels, and Johnny Kenny, just, you can see his eyes lighting up, but he's just got to make better contact. He's sliding a little bit, but I think he's got to hit the target from there.
Really good delivery from Arne Engels, and the quality of some of Celtic's crosses has been much improved from the weekend. Tierney carries forward, infield to Hatate. Now McGregor, back to Tierney. Tierney, space to cross, curls one in, header over the top this time from Kenny. He's making the runs, just not finding the end product at the moment.
Yeah, it was a good run, it was just slightly, he had to get beyond the defender and just get a clear header, and he was just slightly off balance, but the run was good, cross the defender.
Change for Sturm Graz. Tommy Horvat's work is done, and Axel Kayombo, the Democratic Republic of Congo player, is on for the Sturm Graz debut off the bench. He's a winger come striker, so attacking stuff from Jurgen Sommel. Side down to 10 men after Chugwane's red card on 70 minutes. But they're chasing an equaliser here at Celtic Park with 8 minutes to play plus stoppage time, and they're throwing down the line here for Kayumbo, and he's got 3 Celtic players on him, manages to get the pass away to Karic, and now it's Hodel and Stankovic passes it out to Jalen Mitchell. Tierney blocks his pass, throw into Sturm just in front of us here at Celtic Park in the main stand, and the Austrian champions not going away just yet.
No, long throw coming up.
Celtic really struggled from this situation against Dundee at the weekend, and they learned their lessons. Flat throw, it's a poor throw. Johnny Kenny heads it up into the sky, then off the back of Hatate's head, and then Kenny's clearance almost found Balikwisha, curled into the box, up from Yatta, down and away from Donovan, but it's picked up again by the visitors. It's on the edge of the box, foot in from McGregor. Flag goes up on this near side, offside. Celtic breathed a little easier, and Kieran Tierney applauds the near side linesman for that decision.
Yeah, and they can play it here out this left hand side. They've got to keep going, guys. They put a lot of work into this game, moving the ball, but that's part and parcel playing at this level. You've got to keep your concentrations, work hard.
Celtic 4 without a win in Europe this season. Are they about to end that run? Rio Hatate drives forward up the left. Balikwisha back to Hatate, and he has won the corner off Iwood.
Yeah, better just drive into the byline this time. Hatate, he looks tired man though. Yeah. I just wonder whether Brendan Rodgers will go to the bench again. He hasn't made any indication that he will do that.
Yeah, that was a heavy sigh from Hatate, pecking after the shift he's put in. He's still on the park, and it's going to be Celtic corner again from this near side. Arne Engels to deliver with the right boot. McGregor's coming across to offer the short option, but then decides better of it, and Engels puts the right arm up, strikes it with the right foot in on top of the goalkeeper. Oh, how's that gone over the top? Oh, it could have gone anywhere. I think it took a deflection off a Sturm Graz player. It's going to be another corner, and somehow it goes over the top of their crossbar.
I don't even think that Nygren got a touch on it this time. Just the defenders and the goalkeeper all over the place. Just put it back in there again. Don't need to go short. Just put it into that danger area. You've got a goal from it. You've seen 2 or 3 real opportunities from it.
It is Arne Engels again. Only one place this is going, the crowded 6-yard box. Here he comes, the Belgian. Sends it in, flat ball. This time it's headed away by Karic at the front post. McGregor back to Donovan in the centre circle, then back to McGregor, the Celtic captain. Up to Scales, back to McGregor. Engels, and he's back to Carter Vickers first time. Carter Vickers across the back line to Hatate. Hatate carries infield, goes back to Carter Vickers, who doesn't have much option, wants to go back to Schmeichel, who looked like he was going to thump that long, but picks out Scales, and then...
I don't get that. I don't get that. He could have played that ball down the line here. They're just trying to keep... And now they've given away a free kick out in this right-hand side. I think it's a free kick he's given.
Yeah.
Puts added pressure on them.
It's right on the touchline, and it's about 25 yards from goal. On this near side, opportunity for Sturm Graz, the 10 men of Sturm Graz. We've almost hit 86 minutes at Celtic Park. It is Celtic 2, Sturm Graz 1 in match day 3 of the Europa League. Well, Karic has stolen about 10 yards of that free kick in field. I mean, the foul was right on the touchline. Ridiculous from the fullback, and he's quickly given his orders to retreat. Here he is. He's going to bend this in with a left foot. And into that uncertain corridor. Oh, he sends it to the back post. It's a floater. Oh, brilliant header from Scales. Then Hatate collects edge of the box. Was he brought down there? No, he brought down the Sturm Graz player, who was Lavalley. Another opportunity for the visitors here from the edge of the box.
This is a better position. It's about between just probably about 5 yards in from the corner flag, about 4 or 5 yards outside. Plenty of distance to get whip on this. Up and down. I think it'll be crossing even. I'm looking at the back post here where they've got 2-3 big players, and it's Engels is picking up, Tierney's picking up the back post, Scales is in the wall. I'm not sure if your best header should be in the wall at that point in time.
Yeah. Well, Keatisvili and Tommy Horvat have gone off, so it's fresh taker. It is Grigic, and he goes for the strike, and it's well over the top. That's a waste.
That's a waste. I'm not sure. I think that the better ball would have been played to the back post. They've got 2-3 players, big players up, and Celtic are struggling. They don't have a lot of height in the team, and they put Scales into the wall, but he's gone for goal. Bad decision for them. Good decision for Celtic.
They were queuing up, and Jalen Mitchell was one of them at the back post, and he's certainly telling Leon Grigic what he thinks of that decision to go for the strike. Schmeichel goes long. Stankovic wins the header. Scales back pedals, not his best header, but Donovan gets onto it, hits off of Kayombo. It's a Celtic free kick. Donovan was clattered into there, and we have 2 minutes left plus stoppage time at Celtic Park. Celtic have turned this game around in the second half.
I think stoppage time will be about 6 minutes. That's my prediction.
I'll hold you to that, Packy, in a few moments. It's passed back to Carter Vickers under a bit of pressure. He's done well to float it over the top. I think Donovan thinks he's offside, so he's left it here. Kayombo has to play it out. He's hit off Nygren, and it breaks for Donovan. Cross is deflected. Johnny Kenny blocked and into the goalkeeper's arms. Excellent challenge from Iwu.
Yeah, good challenge. Just couldn't get it under control. Again, just a wee bit more sharpness.
Johnny Kenny's had a lot of chances for Celtic today, but I've liked his performance in terms of getting into the positions and his energy.
Well, he's just come into the team, and he needs a few games to maybe sharpen up and get the opportunity. He will have to play now, I would assume, over the next couple of games.
Yeah, Iheanacho going off after just a couple of minutes with a muscle injury. Scales out to Tierney on the halfway line. Hatate, short pass, then Balakwisha. He's got space here, Balakwisha, he's running at the centre half. Balakwisha comes in on the right foot. It's Balakwisha! Oh, he's bent it just wide. Tried to curl it into the top corner, wide of the target. 2-1 it remains.
Yeah, did you really think he was going to hit that target? He's come in a great position, but just didn't get enough accuracy and whip on that ball. Just knocks it wide. Could have killed the game off there. They got all the pressure off Celtic.
We're in the 90th minute. Long from Vignetti. And that's Yatta underneath it. Did enough to distract Tierney, and it breaks for Hurdle. Jinks in field here, the youngster, and then tried to slide the pass in. Crucial interception, comes back to him. Gets onto the right foot, still going into the Celtic box. Low cross, brilliant challenge from Hatate. Eventually to block the cross, and it's gone for throw-in right next to the corner flag on this near side. Yeah,
it's going to be another long throw into the box. The last one, he never got it really past the first player, and it was easy cleared by Johnny Kenny, but again, concentration levels have got to be a maximum.
Mitchell flings it into the area. Stankovic is up off the top of his head, bounces at the back post. Lavalley with the touch, takes it down on the thigh, cuts it back, curled by Karic on top of Schmeichel, who gathers it with both gloves, and the near side linesman has put the flag up anyway. We're going to have 5 added minutes at the end of this game. You're 1 out, Packy.
I'm 1 out. It wasn't far away. I'll take 5 though. I'll be very happy with 5.
Celtic 2, Sturm Graz 1. Celtic heading for a first win in the Europa League this season, in European football this season, and they're going to avoid back-to-back defeats. Hasn't happened to them, astonishingly, since 2021, when Ange Postecoglou was not long in the door. Lost to AZ Alkmaar and to Rangers. Of course, went on to win the league that season anyway, but Celtic on course for victory here after defeat at Dens. Oh, and that's not the best from Scales, but luckily Carter Vickers was there to mop up. Yeah. And McGregor heads it forward. Kenny flicks on, but there's no one there. Iwu lumps it forward. I get the feeling it's going to be a nervous last 4 minutes for Celtic. They do have a man advantage, and Kenny's won it again, but illegally according to the referee. And Celtic fans are raging with that decision.
Yeah, and all the big guys are coming up. You see the bench here shouting to them to get up, every single one of them. And now Celtic have just got to defend this long goal kick almost from the halfway line.
They're going to throw the kitchen sink at it. Karic, it's a bit of a floater. Mitchell's dropped deep to flick it on though. Tierney's underneath it, it's come off his head. And Stankovic is going to try and earn the corner. It's a brilliant challenge. especially from Scales, but it's ended up not preventing the corner, and as he hurt himself in the process there, now he's down, and Stankovic is trying to get him to his feet, and the Celtic fans are unhappy with that, and it's all getting heated, but it's quickly calmed, and Scales gets to his feet and walks that one off. It's going to be a corner to Sturm Graz though in stoppage time. We've played 2 of the 5 added minutes, and it's the 10 men of Sturm Graz who are knocking on the door here. Celtic just need to see this out. Hödl hoists it in. Schmeichel hesitates, header, it drops, and it's cleared. And there's a foul in the 6-yard box. And Celtic get the free kick.
Yeah, Schmeichel's got to come and punch that. The ball's dropping 5 yards out. He comes, then he hesitates, and he stays on his line and hoping that his defenders are going to deal with it. And the 2 Celtic players down. Obviously Scales from the initial one, and I'm not too sure who the other one is.
Well, it's the walking wounded for Celtic out there. They've lost 2 players. McGregor took a sore one earlier. Scales is limping about. And they might go to Tynecastle with a spring in their step and momentum, but we'll see how many line up. And Gorgie comes Sunday lunchtime. What a huge game that is. Celtic still with work to do here though. They've played 3 of 5 added minutes. They lead the 10 men of Sturm Graz by 2-1. Schmeichel fires it long from that free kick. Header one at the back by Sturm Graz. Hödl has it. Oh, he takes on the man, goes down the line, and then Kenny is back battling, and he's actually won the throw-in as well there.
Yeah, good play from young Johnny Kenny, lending himself to the team, getting back from the centre forward position all the way back almost into the right back position.
Throw into Celtic in their own half. It's 19-year-old Colby Donovan, who came on after 23 minutes to replace Alistair Johnston. How long will he be out for after making his return tonight? After 10 games on the sidelines, we don't know. Breaks into midfield and Carter Vickers mops up. Tierney's found Hatate in the centre circle, and the midfielder drives forward. He's got Balikwisha in front, finds Balikwisha left hand side of the box. Balikwisha, low ball, Kenny with a touch, Kenny with a strike straight at the goalkeeper.
Yeah, I thought Balikwisha probably was going to take that into the corner and just kill time, but he obviously felt that he could create something, which he did, and Johnny Kenny turning in the box, take it in the corner this time, young man. That's it.
Scales wins it again into Hatate, and Hatate has found Balikwisha again. And here he goes, and he's not interested. He back heels it this time to Hatate. I thought he was going to whip it in, and Hatate's holding it in the corner here. And back to Balikwisha, then McGregor. Balikwisha this time hits off Stankovic, and then Balikwisha gives away the free kick. He'd have been as well, just hoisting it into the box there.
I thought they know how to take it into the corner and deal with it and get something out of it. It's against their philosophy, I'm sure.
Well, this, by my reckoning, is probably last play here at Celtic Park. And the goalkeeper for Sturm Graz launches it long. Carter Vickers is beaten in the air, it goes through, it's chased, but Kayumbo can't get there ahead of Schmeichel, who slides and collects the ball. And that may be that. It is that. Celtic have won. They've bounced back from defeat at Dens. They've bounced back from a luckless first half where they lost Iheanacho and Johnson to injury and fell behind to a screamer from Tommy Horvath. And in the second half, produced a rousing comeback. 2 goals in 3 minutes. Liam Scales, after a quick corner, stroked into the bottom corner, and Nygren, having missed 3 good chances with his head, couldn't miss for the 4th time with asking from point blank range after Engels' corner. They were helped by Chukwani's rash challenge on McGregor, which ended in his sending off on 70 minutes. So Sturm Graz played the last 25 with 10 men. Celtic had further chances to increase their lead, couldn't take them. But in the end, it did not matter. They are up and running in the Europa League. Their first 3 points on the board, and they can move on to a massive game at Tynecastle with some much-needed confidence and momentum. Full time at Celtic Park. Match day 3 in the Europa League. It finished Celtic 2, Sturm Graz 1.
Celtic versus Sturm Graz
In the Europa League
live on Sportsound
on BBC Radio Scotland.
This is the incredible story of a player rejected by his boyhood club to rise from the ashes and become Serie A's most valuable player.
He is on fire! He was literally enshrined in a part of Naples.
Mick Fratima to the Napoli faithful.
Means brother in Neapolitan dialect.
We're going back to learn about how McTominay was made. This is Scott McTominay, our brother of Naples, on the Scottish Football Podcast. Listen on BBC Sounds.
You're listening to Sports Sound on BBC Radio Scotland. It's been a busy old night. We came on there at 5 o'clock. 3 European commentaries for you. Thankfully, things have just got a bit better in the east end of Glasgow. We had 2 games kicking off at 5:45 in the Europa League. Brand 3, Rangers 0. Danny Rule's first game in charge. We'll hear from the Rangers manager just shortly. We'll be joined by a Rangers fan, and also stay tuned, some very strong comments from the Rangers captain James Tavernier. Also at 5:45 in the Conference League, AEK Athens 6, Aberdeen 0. Willie Miller scathing of that Aberdeen performance. We'll be joined by Don's fan. We'll also hear from Jimmy Tulline. Celtic thankfully getting back there at Celtic Park after going a goal down to Sturm Graz. Second half goals from Liam Scales and Benjamin Nygren, getting them a 2-1 victory. We'll hear from Brendan Rodgers. It's been a tough week, a tough few weeks, you'd have to say, for Celtic fans. How much of a confidence booster will that be ahead of that huge game at Tynecastle on Sunday? Full coverage, of course, to come on Sports, and Billy Dodds and James McFadden alongside me here in the studio. Billy Dodds, it was a difficult one at half-time, was like a Celtic were behind, but they'd actually played quite well in that first half, so a very good commanding second half performance.
Yeah, I think it's more about the performance for Celtic, because after the defeat at the weekend where they never showed much, they had to show tonight. Yeah, win the game, absolutely had to do it, but I think Celtic fans wanted to see a performance. They kept going, Nygren kept going, Johnny Kenny kept going, and they get their rewards. 2 corners, well thought out. Young Donovan had a big part to play for Scales to score his goal, and then Nygren just nipped in at that middle of the goal. Goalkeeper had a shocker, to be fair, but doesn't matter. Celtic created numerous chances that second half. Could have scored more. Kenny missed a lot of chances, but Faddy and I were talking about, we like him, he keeps going back for more. Sign of a good striker.
Yeah, I agree. I think that he kept making the moves, and it wasn't desperate moves he was making. It was good ones. He was holding his position, waiting to judge where the ball was coming, Johnny Kenny, and he's unfortunate he's not ended up in the score sheet. But I think for Celtic, get the win. Second half performance, Sturm Graz, obviously when they go down to 10 men it becomes more difficult for them, but I think when Celtic moved the ball quicker it caused them problems, stopped them from getting any kind of control in the game, and it was a better performance in the second half for Celtic. Umpteen chances each, I think, for Nygren and Kenny. It could have been a lot more. Goalkeeper, you have to give him credit, made a couple of very good saves, but ultimately for Celtic, back to winning ways, back in the goal trail, and chances created. I think that has got to be the most pleasing factor.
And they go to Tynecastle in a buoyant mood now, but I'm going to give the negatives. I don't know about Maeda, but he's out. Johnson looks as if he'll not make it. Iheanacho doesn't look as if he'll make it. It looks like muscle strains, which is going to take more than a few days. And the worrying thing right at the end, and we all hope he's okay, is Carter Vickers getting helped off the pitch as well. They are huge players for Celtic, Kenny, and they need to go to Tynecastle and try and win that match after Dundee, but they've got to do it without some big players, but they're going there in a much better frame of mind.
Yeah, I think that's the point, isn't it, Pat? Because they've not been hitting the heights this season at all. Celtic very flat, you'd have to say, at Dens Park on Sunday, but in terms of heart, in terms of intensity tonight, it was a lot more like it.
Yeah, and they did move the ball, kept the ball at times and moved it around. Just that hesitancy in the first half on the edge of the box. Second half, yes, they did create better chances, and yes, I think you're absolutely right. Nygren, you've got to hand it to him. He just kept going and going and going. And I did say before the game, this is about hard work now. This is about every single player. You've seen Johnny Kenny right at the end there running from the centre forward, and he was absolutely on his knees, shattered, but he ran back into a right back position and ended up winning the throw-in actually. But that 40-yard run just to help out his teammate, that's what you've got to do when things are going against you. And that was today. I think it was just down to real determination and hard work. And Negrin sums it up. Johnny Kenny sums it up. Just keep going and going, and eventually it will turn, because they are good players. And listen, Billy and James has described all the injuries they have now, but sometimes when your back's against it, that's when you step up, and they will have to step up at the weekend, because that's not going to be easy up in Tynecastle. It's going to be a magnificent day, a magnificent game. Looking forward to it, but today was so important just to get that one, to get the confidence back. You've seen the reaction from the fans at the end. And coming back from being a goal down, a shocker punch, right at the start, in that first half, that could have maybe knocked the stuffing out of them, but he kept going, which is the critical part.
Yeah, a really important victory for Celtic tonight. Certainly in terms of momentum and some confidence building ahead of that game at Tynecastle on Sunday. Full coverage on Sports, and we will hear from the Celtic manager, Brendan Rodgers. We'll also hear from Danny Rowe and also from Jimmy Tilley. Some strong comments, as I've been saying, from the Rangers captain James Tavernier. Fans will join us between now and 11 o'clock on Sports. And just overall, Billy, for Scottish football, we needed Celtic to come back into that game tonight, didn't we? It was a sore night.
Without a shadow, you're thinking, especially Celtic at half time. Rangers have been beaten 3-0, Aberdeen have been beaten 6-0, Celtic 1-0 down. We needed something for the sake of Scottish football, and Celtic find a way to turn it round.
Yep, they certainly did, and we needed it. We'll hear from Brendan Rodgers, as I said, a little later in the programme. But let's get some fan reaction to this evening's earlier games. Rangers lost 3-0 away to Brann in Danny Rowell's first game in charge. A Rangers supporter to come, but first up, the post-match media conference from the new Rangers manager.
Danny, can I ask for your assessment of that performance, and did you expect better from your players tonight?
Yeah, of course. I think we have high standards, and we should have high standards in Rangers. I think this is very important to understand. I think for me it was clear that everything could be right, but of course we are very disappointed today at 3-0 defeat. Yeah, we have to say the opponent was better. They deserved the win. They were more aggressive. They won more second balls. And yeah, I think today I saw a lot where we are at the moment. What is the reality? But also it's very clear we have not so much time to change something. But I want to see again a step forward on Sunday, and it means we have to win this game.
Where do you think you are, and are you maybe further behind than you initially thought when you took the job on?
No, I think there are reasons why we didn't win in the past so much games. I think you saw this today again. My job is find a solution as soon as possible with this group. I think I saw a lot about individual performances. I think this is also, but more as well how we act as a group, and this is the things we have to improve.
Can I ask you, at full time you went over to the fans, you climbed over the hoardings to get close to them. Did you have an exchange with them? What was the conversation?
Yeah, I think at first I apologize for this defeat and this performance. They travel a lot for the team. They're always there. This club has a lot of patient fans, and they deserve this. And this was for me very important to show that I understand them. But I said as well to them as well, I working very hard to improve this group of players, to step up and get results.
Danny, does this feel like a bigger job now than even a few days ago, having watched that performance?
Yeah, I think this is the reality. After 2 days, you hoped, of course, to have a good start to win this game and have quick the turnaround. But I think this is in football sometimes just a wish. You have to work hard, and it goes not overnight just when you talk, because we have to do something better on the pitch. And tomorrow we will straight go in the meeting. I will show them, and we have to work, and we have to use every single minute to improve this performance, and should not come again.
Are you convinced these players are good enough to turn it around?
I see a lot of potential. What we have to improve. I think this is very important to understand, and this is what I told my players as well. I want to see that every individual player tried everything to make this step forward, and this is my job. Yeah, and for this is I took this job over to develop them and improve them, and we have to do it individual, but also as a group. And there's a lot of things what we can do.
How frustrating was the manner of the goals? You conceded all three of them very easily, scored for them, and perhaps very easily avoidable from your perspective.
Yeah, I can agree. I think this is as well to defend as a group, avoid mistakes, but mistakes happens, and then it means how we react the next teammate. We have to help each other, and I think this mindset at the moment have to come into. Yeah, at the moment you see on the pitch, we blame more a single football instead a group football, and I think if we do this better, and if we understand this, that we have to suffer together, if we have to help each other, then we will be successful. But if we try just to play our game, then it's hard, and I think you saw today a team who is exactly doing this. I think they have maybe not the best individual players, but they worked so hard as a group, and it's the reason why they deserve this. And this is my job, to bring exactly the individual players in a group and where we work hard as a unit.
Can I ask your opinion on Yusuf Shamniti's performance? What gave him the nod for him to start tonight? Why did you start him, and what did you make of the time that he was on the pitch?
Yeah, I think before I will go in this question, I think this is exactly the part we can speak now about individual performance, but our performance as a group was not good today, and I think this is what I will try. I took him today because I saw a very last high line, and he has power. He can go deep. I think that was the reason why I took him. But again, I come back to the key message today. Important is the team performance.
The fans gave you a great reception. What did that mean to you? And do you think they deserve better than that performance?
Yeah, I'm honest. It was a great welcome before the game, and then you hope really to can give them straight the 3 points and a good feeling, and this makes me sad today that I couldn't, and it was also the reason why I walked to them to give them exactly the big respect what they deserved, and this is my job. I think we have to understand our fans are very patient, and we cannot expect that they are always happy with us when we have such a performance. And this was for me the signal why I make this step, to be brave there, go to them, give them that I understand, and hopefully they understand also why I took this. I think the reaction was for me then good. They recognized this, but of course we want to show and we have to show.
2 more, just Chris and the gentleman here, please.
Do you believe you can still qualify in this competition?
I think it's a hard work, what we have to do. When I look to the next opponent, we will have again a big team. But it's about the turnaround, and for me the next game is the important one, and this is now on Sunday. I said this, I think, to the beginning. For me, the moment to have a long-term view, it makes no sense. We need games every 3 days, and it means we have to win. And for this, I will help my players, my group, my coaches, and then we go forward.
Last question, please.
Yeah, did one in any way surprise you today with what they came with?
No, not 1 minute. I expect exactly this team. You see, they are also at the end of the season. They have a lot of time together. They are well coached in basic things, how they press together, how they recover for the second ball, how they go in duels, and all these things. And it was good to see. And this is what I said to my players. Our goal should be that if we face them in the future again, that we see a team who is better exactly in these points. And from this point I go forward. It is a challenge, but I believe that we will find the way to improve these things.
So, the thoughts of Danny Röhl there. A very angry James Tavernier also spoke after the game.
It's just a disgraceful performance, simple as that. It's all the years I've been here, you know, it's for the consistency of poor performance that we're putting in. I've not experienced it before. Some of us show our aggression after the games, after we get beat. You expect all the lads to take that in, but individually we have to look at ourselves much harder, because it's, you know, you can get instructions from managers, but we simply have to put that on the pitch, and we were just second best, first ball, second balls, you know, not enough fight. And I shouldn't be saying that for a player of Rangers. You know, that should be the given. You should want to fight, go for the ball. You know, even if it's a scrappy game, you've got to make it a scrappy game. But it's just far too easy at this minute playing against us, and that's the hurtful thing about this all.
Does it worry you that, you know, the new manager coming in, you're playing for your place, you've got somebody you've got to impress him, he's going to maybe want to make changes when he gets to January? Would people be worried about, you know, replacing the team, replacing his plans, given the way performance of that tonight?
Everybody should be. You should be playing for the shirt. You know, you come to this club to play. It's an honour to come and play for this club. You want to make history playing for this club, and that's nowhere near the requirements that were shown tonight. And yeah, the managers came in. You know, it's a couple of days on the training pitch. You only can give certain instructions, but us as ourselves have to put that on the pitch. You know, it comes within as a player to fight, to give it your all. That's within. You've either got it, you haven't, and we're just clearly not showing that at this moment in time.
Is that anger in the dressing room?
Oh, I'm raging. This is what I'm saying. It's like first time I've been in this position, been at this club, and this amount of consistent games that we've been just certain basic levels that we've not been performing at, and that's what's making me rage. It's the amount of chats that we've had after games. You know, you want it to sink into players, but it just isn't at the minute, and that's what I'm raging at.
Are the rest of the players as angry as you are?
I hope they are. I'm obviously not in their heads, but I hope they are, and because we need to fix this, and we only can do this is by everyone playing for the shirt, chipping in, and giving the role.
Right, James Tavernier there. We've been joined by Rangers supporter Dougie Kinnear. Good evening to you, Dougie. Thoughts on tonight's performance? It was disgraceful, according to the Rangers captain.
Evening, Kenny. Yeah, it was disgraceful. Another very sobering evening as a Rangers supporter. To add to a collection this season, and it's compounded with the difference in the two squads. You know, we're a team who, in recent seasons, have been very successful in European football against a team who are the lowest ranked in Europa League competition this season. And when you consider the net spend this summer of the two squads and of the starting 11s, it's a very sobering evening.
Yeah, it certainly is, Dougie. And you know, Rangers bottom of the table as things stand. When I listen to that, and I listen to the manager, and I hear James Tavernier talking about a lack of fight in the park, the manager conceding that Brann were more aggressive. These are surely basic things for a fan that you need to be seeing.
I don't think I've heard James Tavernier being as outwardly frustrated and directing a lot of that anger at his own teammates. And Jack Butland said similar after the weekend as well. There's clearly big issues in the dressing room that go a bit deeper than the players that have been put out on the pitch. We can all point fingers at the recruitment. Alan McCoy certainly made some comments on live TV this evening. I think one of the biggest challenges for me as a supporter watching this right now is we've just signed far too many project players, young boys, and they're not surrounded in winners. There's not enough big characters at Rangers prepared to drag us through games like tonight.
Dougie is Billy Dodds. You're right. I mean, I look at the squad now, and there was problems when we were in there. There was things where I liked to have changed, but there was things that had to change because it still wasn't right. But it seems to have been added, like more loan players, more young players, more project players. Mm-hmm. Rangers we've said it all along, they are not a project club. Yes, you have to have a model that one comes along now and again and he's decent and you think you can make money out of them. But the managers have to get in there with too many project players, too many loan players, and try and win games, and that's where all the problems arise.
Take us into the dressing room, Billy, when you were there. So after a poor performance, what did you see from Tavernier? What did you see from the guys in there, with having a go at each other, pulling each other? What was it like? Are there leaders, Billy? No.
And I'm like Dougie. That's the most exasperated I've heard Tav. But Tav, I'll admit himself, he didn't have the best game tonight, but these kind of games the captain gets wheeled out in front of the media and he's got to speak. It's tough for him, and I would like to do it. I'd like him to do it in the dressing room and when he's had a good game, because for me, I love James and I loved working with him, but he was at fault for the first goal tonight, trying to play offside. There was other things as well. He didn't have his best, but he's willing to go and speak because it's his job as a captain. The dressing room wasn't a loud place. Yeah, there was a few boys it wasn't old school. In the modern day player, you don't get old school now, where they'll self-run, they'll get in one another's face. I don't mean fighting, I mean they'll call out one another. You should be doing this.
It's the first thing I thought of when he said it. If he's saying that in the dressing room, if players aren't turning around and saying, you need to look at yourself as well. And I just don't think that happens anymore.
I think Tav's at his best when he standard sets.
Yep.
And I've got a lot of time for him. I had loads of good conversations with him, coaching points, and he do you know what? He's a sponge. He takes it on board, and it's not just James tonight. It's the team.
They're weak, aren't they?
I hate this phrase, like, get back to basics. The team's not doing the basics, but they didn't tonight. They never get close to it. They created 2 chances in the full game, and they both fell to the young lad Chermiti and Mikey Moore, who hit it over the crossbar. That was it for Rangers. They were overrun in the middle of the park. It's worrying because when we were in there, that there was these little teething problems. There was problems had to be sorted, but we still managed to get performances out of them in big games, and there was a lot of good stuff as well. So that good stuff could have been tweaked and added to. And now Rangers have spent a lot of money. We're talking about this net spend of 20 million, and
they're worse.
I think they're worse. I really do when I look at it.
We'll bring in Faddy in just 1 minute, Dougie, but your thoughts on Danny Rule and the recruitment process overall?
Just to pick up on one of the points that Billy was making there about the project players and building for the future, we sold our 3 top goal scorers, or certainly our 3 top goal scorers left the club at the end of last season, and Cyril Dessers, Václav Černý and Hamza Egeman. They've been replaced by project players. Yusuf Shamiti might become a good player, but at £8 million, you need somebody to hit the ground running straight away. And at the same time, you're looking at building for the future in that regard, but in other regards, you're not building for the future, because you look at the back 4 this evening. 0 of that back 4 will be here next year as things stand. You get 2 players out of contract, and you get 2 loan players. We on one hand are building for the future, on the other hand, we're absolutely not. The defence right now is a huge problem for me. And if I was Danny Rule, right now I'd be looking at how do you get back to basics, to that comment. And I'd be looking ahead to the game against Kilmarnock at the weekend. And the first thing I'd be doing is shoring things up at the back. I'd be going defensive, I'd be playing 5 at the back. And I'd be looking at moving out some of the loan players as much as I possibly can, because, typically when the going gets tough, it's loan players who don't roll up their sleeves, and Černy's probably the major exception to that from last season. Loan players are not the guys that roll up their sleeves, get their hands dirty and fight for the club.
Right, we'll bring James in on that, but just on the prospect of Danny Rule being the right man to take you forward. We've seen very little, obviously, Dougie, but what are your thoughts on him being the man right now for Rangers? Not a lot of experience as a number 1.
Yeah, you really can't judge Danny Rule on tonight's game. I wanted the players to really stand up and be counted tonight. Danny Rule's only had about half a training session with this group. We needed to see real character from the players, and my entire blame this evening is on them whilst up the stairs. But from a Danny Rule perspective, he's a young man. He's not the experienced figurehead that a lot of supporters in the summer were looking for when you consider Steven Gerrard and Kevin Muscat linked with the club. But he's not the inexperienced novice that some people might suggest that he is, given his age, and only had one role in management at Sheffield Wednesday. He's been around at some top clubs and nations, supporting some really big managers in the game. It remains to be seen right now whether he can get his methods across to this group of players and whether he's got the character that's needed to lead Glasgow Rangers.
Well, James, let's just put some of Dougie's points to you there. Too many loan signings, too many project players, and he picked up £8 million plus for Chimiti. The manager said he picked him because he brings power to the side, he can go deep. And again, it's early days in him, but at that price tag, given where Rangers are, he needs to be delivering now.
Yeah, he does, but is he ready? That's the issue, and look, I totally understand the frustration of spending £8 million on a player that doesn't look ready at the minute. I mean, that's just the way it is, and I think that going back to the Tavernier interview, as much as it is the most animated we've seen him, and it's the strongest he's been when he's speaking about the team. He wasn't speaking about the team and no him. He was putting himself in that. He was talking about himself and the team and being, weak and not being strong enough and not being aggressive and not picking up second balls. And when you think, Dougie's point of playing a back five, I mean, I think if the manager came out the night after the game and says, look, we're in trouble here, I'm going to play a back five and sit back against Kilmarnock at home on Sunday, then the people would be worried.
That's where the fans are, though, isn't it? That's the reality.
But that's exactly where they are. But I was looking at Rangers fixtures, and the manager, he's not had time to work on it. So travel back, recover, prepare for the game. How much training you're going to get to put in? Not much. You've got Sunday, you've got Wednesday, Sunday, Thursday, Sunday. You're not going to have a lot of time in the training pitch, so he's going to have to do a lot of video stuff. James Tavernier's come out and said nothing to do with picking up the tactics or taking on the manager's instructions. That will come, and you can bleed that in almost with doing your video and reinforcing your message. The worrying thing for me is not being up on the first balls, not being anywhere near to compete for the second balls. That's no tactics. That is nothing for the manager. That's a player's perspective. Not being in the right position, not being ready to be, not being competitive. You're not saying that the manager's got to come in, wave a magic wand and say, right, this is how I want you to play. Go and play like that. This is things that are basics of a football player. James Tavernier's speaking about playing for Rangers, wearing the shirt. Any professional football player, you play and you have that pride to play the game. You have that pride to be competitive. Sometimes you come up against better players. You make sure you make it as difficult as you can for them. And the worrying thing for me is, and we've all been able to see it all season, we're too easy to play against.
Yeah,
that is a terrible, terrible thing to say about any team. Never mind Rangers, who want to be up competing. It is a project at the minute, and it's it is hurting. It is a hurtful time, but this is where Rangers are at the minute.
Well, Dougie, just final thoughts from yourself, because I know Brendan Rodgers probably isn't too far away, but we're going to get reaction from Celtic and also Aberdeen from earlier on. But from a fan's perspective, Dougie, from the excitement there must have been with this takeover of the football club, the investment, to where you're at now, and protests against Patrick Stewart and Kevin Thirlwell. Most of the fans seem to want these guys out. The Russell Martin experiment, the £20 million net spend, the team looks worse. How are you feeling right now?
Anticlimax doesn't sum up, Kenny.
Yeah.
We expected big things from the new ownership. They've backed things up financially. They've put their money where their mouth is, and we've outspent money. But unfortunately, they've recruited the wrong people at the top of this club. And I think this summer the recruitment's going to set us back years, because we've overspent on players not capable of playing for this football club. We've spent a lot of money on temporary signings who are not going to help us win trophies this season. And I don't know if you've seen this evening, the CEO, Patrick Stewart, and Sporting Director Kevin Thirlwell were greeted with a lot of abuse at the airport as they were travelling home.
Right.
And that comes as no surprise, because that's where the frustration amongst most supporters lies. It's all pointing towards this summer's recruitment, which, quite frankly, is not good enough, especially when you consider 7 of our starting 11 tonight were new signings.
Yeah, it's a bit of a mess right now. Dougie, thanks very much indeed for joining us on Sports and Rangers supporter Dougie Kinnear there. Strong words from James Tavernier. We also heard from the new Rangers manager Danny Rowe. We've been joined by Celtic supporter Mark Brown following Celtic's 2-1 victory over Sturm Graz this evening. Good evening to you, Mark. We'll get your thoughts on tonight's performance. I should just say at some point we may interrupt you. Hopefully we'll hear live from the Celtic manager Brendan Rodgers. But what did you make of that tonight?
Yeah, I thought it was a lot better. Still in parts, I think they were obviously certainly at the beginning of the game, they lacked probably a bit of tempo and picking out the right pass, but I think obviously they grew into the game. Obviously they concede the goal rather, which previously obviously had set Celtic back and we just couldn't get going after that. But they ended the first half well, and obviously the second half they dominated, and then obviously the guy gets sent off, which helps us a bit. You just wanted that third goal because you felt like whilst there was still one goal in it, that the opposition might get a chance. So overall, it was much better performance.
Mark, Pat Bonner will jump in on this. He's still at Celtic Park. I want Pat's thoughts on it. I'm sure James and Billy will as well. But where are you in terms of the manager right now, the job Brendan Rodgers is doing, Mark?
Well, obviously it's not been the best start to the season, but I think I've tried to look at it holistically, to be honest with you. And I've tried to sort of try to work out why some of the decisions have been made from the top down. Obviously there was a lot of emphasis and focus put on the window. Brendan was quite public on how he felt about the squad and how he should be back. That then never happened, and then of course he's left maybe looking a wee bit silly, or maybe been left sort of hung out to dry. So I don't think you can question Brendan Rodgers. His results in terms of the trophies he's won and the job he's done at Celtic speak for themselves. I think he's frustrated, and I think that behind the scenes it's quite dysfunctional. And I think I spoke to one of my friends about this, and he was of course criticising Celtic, Brendan Rodgers, and quite rightly so at times. But I think when you strip it back, it all comes up. For me, it always goes back to the board and the way they conducted themselves in the window. And maybe we continue to conduct ourselves in windows, to be honest with you. Right, Pat, let's bring you in on this. Apologies, Pat, we may have to jump in at some point. I don't think Brendan Rodgers is far away, but your reaction to what Mark said there.
Yeah, listen, I think what he's saying, I think what you're referring to is that Brendan is still going on about what happened during the summer window, and maybe it's time that we moved on from it, because you can't change that now. You've got to hope that they've learned. You hope that the board will not make that mistake, and whoever is in charge of recruitment. I always thought that when Peter Lawwell sort of kind of stepped away from that, and his son stepped away from that Brendan would have much more control on what happened and who should come in and so on. But it didn't look that way during the summer. He was desperate for players to come in. And
Pat, I'm going to jump in. Sorry, I can see the Celtic manager sitting down right now in the media conference at Celtic Park. Brendan Rodgers live right now on Sports Sound.
I will just kick off, please, with questions. BBC first, thank you.
Brendan, that felt like a shot in the arm tonight. What did you make of the performance?
I thought the performance was outstanding. As disappointed as we were at the weekend with the performance, I thought that was a really good level. So obviously picked up the injuries early on, so that could have disrupted it. But the two young guys that come in, they worked their socks off and contributed to the performance. We went behind to an absolutely brilliant goal, but I just thought throughout the game we looked really creative and had lots of opportunities to score more goals, and everything that you want in the team, the tempo and the speed and the aggression, the energy, everything was there against a good side. So really pleased.
Does everything you talked about, plus battling through the adversity that you mentioned as well, does that give the side momentum and confidence going into the massive game Sunday?
Yeah, I said before the game to the players that we really got to show leadership now and leadership qualities, and in my experience with players is that when those types of players are under pressure, they progress, and you could see that from the weekend coming into this game. The pressure but the progress in the team was so good individually and collectively. And then, of course, whenever you have a setback, which we've had a number of, but in particular at the weekend, then those leaders show the motivation to go again. And we've seen all of that tonight. So yeah, it was a really, really pleasing performance. And yeah, so happy for the likes of Benji, because he had so many chances and he's playing out of position really, but he gets into the areas to get those opportunities and showed so much courage to keep going, and eventually gets his goal. Arne Engels, I thought, was outstanding in the game. You know, coming back in, gave us that energy and that fight, and his set piece quality is really is world class. The level and speed of which he delivers. So yeah, but now overall, it was really pleasing.
How are the guys who were forced off? I guess the two in the first half, Alistair and Kelechi, didn't look too good.
No, it didn't. No, it didn't. So we'll see what that is. But it looks like hamstring, which isn't great. Second half, we wanted to take off Cameron, but we could only make one sort of substitutions in the second half, and ideally we would have taken him off. So we'll see what he's like when he comes in the morning.
Do you know if any of those guys will be missing for Sunday yet? Is it too early to say just now?
Yes.
And how much of a concern is that ahead of such a big game that you could be without such important guys, when already there is perhaps a little bit of an issue with squad depth?
No, it's not. Listen, I'm not worried about that. I'm really only worried about how well we played tonight, and that's our focus. So we'll see what it is in the morning, and if they're not available, you've seen the level that young Colby came in and performed and grew into the game and was very good. Johnny came in and worked really, really hard. So yeah, we just have to accept if we have injuries. But tonight really is about the performance, which was very good.
A lot of talk, Brendan, about speed. You've mentioned it yourself in the build-up to this. Does it show tonight that when it clicks, it's there? You know, when everything works and it's aligned, that speed is able to power through?
Yeah, I think it's sometimes, like at the weekend, with players, you have to be harsh to be clear. And then you hope that you get that reaction, that these players know that I'm with them always. You know, I spend my life dedicated to making this team better, making the individuals better, helping the club progress. And at the weekend, it's not good enough. So tonight we weren't quite the Ferrari, but we're Range Rover Sport. I'll go for tonight. So, hopefully we have no more Morris Minors in the performance. Not that they're a bad car; they're a fantastic car and amazing. So, but no, I think we showed the level with determination tonight, and that's what I expect to see going forward.
I think it was also evident after you got the equaliser, the noise from the crowd and the reaction of the players from the noise of the crowd. Does it show that when there is that unity from the stands and everyone else, that that can be such a driving force for this team?
Well, it is, but I thought that was I sensed it just before kick-off when the guys were in their huddle and I could hear the crowd, and I really sensed that they knew that we needed them, and that's the power of Celtic. Once the team is supported and they feel that, then they can go in and put those types of performances in. So yeah, but it was a great night for us, and but it's important now that we can move on from this.
Was that lost in analysis of what you said on Sunday? Were you actually trying to publicly jolt some people into action rather than express some of your own frustration? Did that get lost in translation almost?
It normally does up here, yeah. It normally does get lost a wee bit. But listen, I've said it, very rarely will I come after players, anything that's ever private. The boys know that. But like I say, I've been managing a long time, and sometimes, like I said, you have to be harsh to be clear sometimes. These are men. This is a club. It's a big club that has huge expectations and pressure, and you have to know when the level's not good enough. And they know they won't have a more empathetic coach. I'm very much for the players. I always have in any team that I work with. But we knew we needed to respond, and I'm so pleased of that progress and that response tonight, because you can see that the performance level is there, but you have to have that determination, and thankfully we had that.
Your goal when it came from an unlikely source in Liam, but Liam kind of typified your performance tonight and got the man of the match award at the end of the 90 minutes as well.
Yeah, he's been my most consistent player in all my time here. Been absolutely fantastic. He's been a real robust stalwart for the team. You see how strong he was tonight. He can score goals, and I said before that we need everyone to be contributing to goals. But the goal comes from us playing at the tempo and speed. We get the ball in, we get it going quickly, and then he makes the finish look a lot easier than what it was. So I thought he was one of our real outstanding players tonight.
Brendan, you talk about progress and response from the weekend. Is it a message now of it's very much onwards and upwards from here, and the weekend provides you with the perfect platform for that as well, playing the only team ahead of you in the league?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And listen, you go to Tynecastle, it doesn't matter at what time of the year, what form you're in, it's always a tough game. But tonight we showed a really, really good level this evening, and we just aim for that consistency now, and it's all now in the mentality.
What do you expect from your opposition on Sunday, and how much you relish in this top of the table clash?
Yeah, very much so. It's Derek and his team have started very, very well in terms of getting the points on the board, being consistent, and like I say, it's a tough place to go. But tonight gives us a real confidence going into the game, and if we can show that level of energy and intent in the game, then we can obviously go there and win.
Brendan, it was a massive night for Arne Engels, obviously starting. You described these deliveries as world class. Is that the type of performance you've been kind of craving from him this season? And do you think he can really push on now?
Yeah, I think in fairness to Arne, in all the European games, you look last year at Champions League, he was very, very good in them. Sometimes it's been in those games where it's really compact, it's really tight, because his qualities are his athleticism and getting around the pitch, and of course if you're playing against teams that are really tight and compact, then sometimes that can be a challenge. But that's where he's getting better, he's learning, and he just I just felt that we needed that sort of triangle back again in midfield, and like I say, his response, his work rate when he, on the training ground, he's got his reward for that tonight, because I thought he was really powerful and played so well. So yeah, really pleased for him, and now he wants to stay in the team now.
Does Dyson Maida have a chance for Sunday?
I don't know. I'll find out tomorrow.
Guys, any more questions on Sunday at all, or happy? Johnson.
Right, the Celtic manager Brendan Rodgers live there in Sports Sound. Just final thoughts from yourself, Pat Bonner. Yeah. You're at Celtic Park. He said it was an outstanding performance, speed, aggression, tempo, energy. You spoke before the game, Pat, how important not just the result, the performance was tonight ahead of that game at Tynecastle on Sunday. The manager very happy.
He is very happy, and he obviously talked the team up and talked up some players that will help their confidence, no doubt. A result makes a huge difference. A win makes a huge difference, and then you can talk then about the performance. He'll probably analyse it from that perspective. The biggest worry is that the injuries that they have to key players for the weekend and the games beyond. But it was good to hear him talking about football and leave all the other issues aside. I just talked before we cut to Brendan. I think the criticism might be is that he's gone on too much about it, and it's kind of almost something that the manager can highlight, but then move on and get working with his players and build their motivation and confidence up. And that's what they probably did since the Dundee game. I don't know how often they got onto the pitch, but they certainly got a result out of them tonight and a performance. And that's what it's about. But it was down to hard work, I can tell you, and it definitely wasn't a Ferrari performance, but it certainly was down to real graft and hard work from a lot of players out there. And that's the bit that the boys were going on about when they were describing the Rangers performance, that you expect that. Celtic and Rangers, that's what you expect. You can't drop your standards below that. The rest of it is down to ability and of the players and so on. But if you don't have the hard work bit and the mentality to grind out results when things aren't going for you, the ability's no good then. It just gets you so far. And that's what he got tonight.
Felt a big win. Pat Bonner, thank you very much indeed, Pat, there at Celtic Park for us. Just final thoughts from yourself, Mark. Thanks for hanging on while we took that media conference live from the Celtic manager. Just 2 final points to yourself, Mark. How concerned are you about a title challenge from Hearts? And we like to give fans a voice in this programme. What would you say to those running your football club?
I wouldn't say I was concerned about the title challenge. I was quite excited about it because it gives the league an edge, and it probably gives Celtic an edge to a point. I listened to an interview actually, the manager of the month one with Derek McInnes, and he said something that was interesting. He said that Hearts' biggest battle is with themselves. I would say that that's the same with Celtic.
Mm-hmm.
I would say that their biggest battles with themselves. And if they focus on, there's no doubt that when you look at the performance tonight, that Celtic have got good players. They've got more good players than they've got bad players, but not at the levels they were last season. And if they turn up and they can generate performances or come up with those performances like they did tonight and better, then it should be fine. But the challenge is that they haven't been doing it enough this season. So that's the concern, and that's where you need to get better. What would I say to my board? I know we've not got a lot of time, so I listened to an interview with Rodgers a few weeks ago after the sort of story was released and all that kind of stuff, and it gave me some encouragement, and what I hoped I took from it was that Pat's right, that he thought Peter Lawwell when he left wouldn't be making as many decisions or would have so much an influence, and my hope sort of was that perhaps we would say goodbye to Peter, and he's done a great job for Celtic. There's no question. I don't have any ill will against him or anything like that, but I think that Celtic need to move on from Peter Lawwell and they need to modernise the club behind the scenes, and that if they're going to ask Brendan Rodgers back a second time, and they must have promised him that he would be making key decisions, then do that. Get the extent. He hasn't been offered a contract, or he said he hasn't been offered a contract, so offer him the contract if you believe he's the man for the job, and back him. And then if you back him and we're still not getting results, then we can move on and we can go from there. But we haven't done that this season, so that's what I would say to the board.
Yeah, good stuff. Mark, thanks very much indeed for joining us on Sports. And Celtic supporter Mark Brown there. Now, interested here, Billy Dodds and James McFadden on this, because we saw the Aberdeen game come in here earlier. Willie Miller's on his way back up the road. He was very strong on his comments. We'll get an Aberdeen fan waiting to give his thoughts on it. 6-0 loss for Jimmy Tilleen's side away to AEK Athens in the Conference League this evening. Let's hear from his media conference now.
Jimmy, how do you explain that?
I think sometimes you have to say that the opponent was really good also. How to win as a collective and as individuals. We feel prepared before the game as a collective to do a better performance. Sometimes and when the game starts like they did, when you're trying to do good things, but every time we lose the ball, they hurt us. They didn't score the first one, but then they scored the next one, and then it was more situations in our transition, how they exposed us between the lines, and we were quite open. So it's difficult sometimes to explain direct after a game. It's a lot of things that didn't work. So we have to, of course, learn from this game as a collective, as a coaching team, as a manager, as individuals. Because sometimes when you play against this quality, they show you what you need to improve and how you have to grow as a collective and as an individual. I think we're going to learn a lot. Then 6-0 is a lot, and it's really tough to manage, because you also see how many Aberdeen fans was here today, and it's like really tough for the players, for the staff, everyone when they travel, and supporters like it did the whole game. Even when we were down, they still was there. The most important thing for us right now is we have a super important game on Sunday, and that's why we have to focus on the right things and show our support that we can make a good game in the league against Hibernian on Sunday.
It was 6, but could have been so many more. Was that a lack of discipline? Did the players do what you asked them to do on the pitch, or was Was it just that they lost all the discipline and lost control of the game and the shape they should have had?
I think football sometimes it's difficult to explain exactly everything. It's sometimes you can win a game and win the direction. Sometimes you can lose a game. Sometimes it depends how you lose a game. And it's so many things sometimes when it's disconnections, and it can be emotional, it can be the stress, it can be sometimes of course quality in the difference between the teams. That's why you need to be so strong in a collective, how you can support each other much better. And when you start a game against this quality today and they score 2 goals in 70 minutes and then the third one in 27 and also have more chances, then you try to find a way in the second half and then they score the fourth one quite early. So I think the best I can do as a manager now is to support my players, and we try to focus on the right things and learn from this one and show our supporters on Sunday that we can do really well in the league. Then, as we have a journey to do to reach another level to compete in Europe, and that's why I said we have to learn a lot from this and try to building this year and next year to be a more competitive team in these kind of games.
As well as the players not performing, do you take responsibility as well for?
I am the manager of these football teams. Of course, I take responsibility. My job is to help the players to cope on this context, and that's why today Athens show us our things we need to work on and keep working on, because they expose and have this quality in 1-against-1, had the first touch, the passes, and the way we manage the ball today. So it's so much to take. Now it's a lot of emotions when everybody. But when everything's come down, we have a lot of things to learn from this game, and we have to improve. And that's why we do this. We win and we lose together.
Is this the lowest point in your managerial career, Jimmy?
Sometimes also you can put hands up. They were really good. Sometimes the opponents show that, okay, we have a journey to do as a team, and how we want to work and how we want to improve us in the future.
The lessons have to be learned from this, not only in Europe, but domestically as well, because how do you pick your players up from that tonight for Sunday?
Again, as I said, the players, we need to support them, but we have a different kind of game on Sunday, and we play at home at Pittodrie, and I'm 100% convinced that everybody wants to show our fans who was here today that we can do much, much better.
What were you able to say to your players after that, to raise them after such a bruising defeat like that?
Sometimes, like, everybody feel like, again, I repeat myself now, we have these supporters here today. We represent Aberdeen Football Club. It's tough when it goes, sometimes when the way the game went. But also sometimes say like, okay, what can we learn from this situation right now? We know it's not acceptable it was 6-0, but it could be more. So there is so much to improve, but also we played 2 games before in the league and was 2 clean sheets and stable performance. Today, like Athens, expose us, and that's what we have to learn from. And also collective, as a manager, but also as individuals, what we need to improve to perform and learn, and everybody wants to achieve to a certain level in their career. So now, today, was a really good game in that way to, okay, we need to improve this and this and this, and also as an individual, I need to train this and this and this. So sometimes just hands up, they win totally deserved, and we have to focus on other things now and focus on the right things. And the right things for us right now is to focus on Hibernian.
How much will it come down to mental strength to get through this and produce the performance you need on Sunday?
Again, it's another team. It's in our league, so we need to compete on that, focus on that things right now. So I think the players want to show our fans again, because it's tough to say how do you gonna apologize. You understand the travel here, so we need to show at Pittodrie that we are back and we can't hide. We have to show up after these results and then change the focus and I'm so convinced that it's not going to be any problem to show our fans and show ourselves that we are much better than we did today.
You don't think there'll be a hangover of this and your players will be able to shrug this off?
Football and sport in general, it's always the next game. You get sometimes hammered down and you get a wake-up situation, wake-up call. Okay, you have a journey to do as a team. And the best thing to do that is direct attack the next game.
I felt a very honest assessment there from Jimmy Chilleen. We've been joined by Aberdeen supporter Steve Wilson. Good evening to you, Steve. Thanks for hanging on. What did you make of it tonight?
Men against boys, basically, is how it looked. Yeah, you can say there's a disparity in the cost of the teams, but we were very, very open. Going into that, you knew Ike were a very good side. We shouldn't have been as open as what we were. Playing Keskinen as a left wing back was a big mistake, and he did change that early on. You've got a question, why is the guy Frame, it's came in from Celtic, who's a natural left back / left wing back, not in there to give us a defensive cover. We knew how good this team was. So it was men against boys from what I watched.
Steve, Billy Dodds, what you hoping now for Sunday? You hoping to have an attacking performance? Do you want them to be more solid at the back? Because obviously Hibs are a decent team and have had a good result last week. You're at home though, you've got to go and attack, and that might leave you exposed again. I think it's so important. I don't know if you agree with me that it doesn't come into the Hibs game, because you've had two fantastic results against St Mirren and Dundee, and it's so important now that they get Aberdeen gets some sort of result just to forget about this, but it's how they go about it now.
It's come down to the players sort of coping with that mentality that coach and staff will have to help, and also the fans getting behind the team. It's going to be a two-way streak, so we've got to see that the players want it, and the fans will back them that way. Hibs, we know how good they are. They've got pace throughout their team, and it seems to be teams with pace that are killing us. We struggle with dealing with high balls through the middle as well. We did that last season, and we're still doing it this season. Yes, St Mirren was a good win. It was something that we needed. We hadn't won down there for so long. Dundee, it was a very poor Dundee side, but again, it gave us confidence. I suppose you've just got to try and put Europe to the back of their minds and say this is a different competition we're going into on Sunday, and trying to get something out of it. I would at this moment in time I would take a scrappy 1-0 win with the ball going in off of somebody's bum. To be perfectly honest, it would give us 3 points. I really would. I'm just feeling deflated at the moment.
Yeah, you ought to have seen Willie Miller when he left the studio, I'll tell you, Steve.
I hope he's got the road okay, Will.
He'll be tuned in. We can't cheer him up, I don't think, Faddy, because Hibs, and Steve's right, off the back of that performance tonight, and Hibs have got a lot of threat and a lot of pace, haven't they? They'll be a big challenge on Sunday.
They have, but I quite like Jimmy Chilleen there at the end, because it was sometimes you get that 6-0, and I mean nobody prepares to lose 6-0, and I think that he's right, it could have been a lot more, but he addressed it. You know, he spoke about, dealing with the issues, going to the home Pittodrie on Sunday, playing against an opposition they're used to playing against in Hibs, who are a good side. I'm not saying they're no, but he's going to deal with the players and deal with this defeat, but look to move forward. It is a beauty of football. There is another game, and it's important that football for me is about when you make mistakes, what's your reaction to it? And it sounded to me, I don't know what you think, Steve, that I thought the manager dealt with that very well.
Yeah. Steve?
I'll be honest, it's the first time I've actually heard him like he was hurting. Never heard him in an interview like that before. And he actually sounded as though he was a bit angry as well. He's a character that doesn't show a lot of emotion, but it did sound as though there was emotion coming through in that interview. So let's hope that can feed through to the players on Sunday. They put in a performance and the fans can get behind the players. And then hopefully it won't all be forgotten about, but it'll certainly help heal some some wounds from tonight, because that can't, I know these guys are professionals, but it still can't be easy for the guys coming off that pitch after getting defeated.
I'll tell you it's no. And I'll tell you it's no when you're on the pitch and you're swimming against the tide, and you just feel that you are open. And I know that we do it because of our job, and you look and say, right, well, listen, what you need to do as a team is get together, and you need to, stop the bleeding and make sure that you don't lose any more goals. When you're on that pitch, sometimes Billy and I were watching the game, and he turned around to me and says, that pitch looks really big, doesn't it? Aye. And see, when you're on the pitch and you look up at the clock and there's 27 minutes gone and it's 3-0 and you're thinking, they've hit the post twice, this is just going to keep
Get
going.
to half time.
And there is a point actually where you come off and go, that was only 6.
Yeah,
that was only 6.
I mean, Willie said at half time it could have been 8.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is, we said it, they can't take into the next game, but it's really interesting for me, and that's why I asked Steve how they go about it, because Steve's talking about Hibs have got pace, so they're going to be more solid even though they're at Pittodrie. How do they get that solidity but still be a threat? So I'm interested to see how they go about it.
Yeah, full coverage of that game, of course. Some great games on Sunday on Sports, and we're also on Saturday. Open all mics, 3 from the top flight, 3 from the Championship for you on Open all mics at the turn of the fan zone, also on Saturday evening. Just a couple of minutes left, Steve, with yourself. What's realistic to expect from the domestic campaign now for Aberdeen fans, do you think?
Well, we're not. You look at the league, and to be fair, it's only Hearts that are really setting the league alight at the moment. Everybody else is losing, drawing, so we're not that far off. I think it's only 4 points off a fourth or third. It's amazing. A couple of wins can turn things round, and you can be looking at finishing in the top 4. At this, where we were 2 or 3 weeks ago, I'd have said top 6. So it's just how we approach the games coming up, and how the players react. At this moment in time, I would still say top 6, but you still want to qualify for Europe again. Yeah,
Steve, let me ask you this one question. Sorry, we're just about to go to the news. So one question: if I can ask you for a yes or a no answer on this, okay? If I can be unfair and do that, as an Aberdeen, Faddy's shaking his head. As an Aberdeen fan, are you happy to see any club, its Hearts this season, put up a challenge to the big 2, or does it not matter? If it's not Aberdeen, you don't care.
Of course you care, and yes, you want the big 2 knocked off.
Yeah,
the top. Yeah.
Well, listen, we love
football.
Listen, you're right.
Came for you, Kenny. I thought there was going to be a lot more.
No, it's too late. It's too late, and Steve's been hanging on me. I appreciate that. And do you know what, Steve? You guys gave us a fantastic ride last season. It was amazing watching you guys. We're now talking about Hearts. We had a discussion a few weeks ago in the programme about, do we think there's a realistic title challenge? It'll be interesting perhaps this Saturday, maybe wait till after Sunday, but to see if the dials change for any of our pundits on that, depending on the result, of course, at Tynecastle on Sunday. Steve, thanks very much indeed for joining us on Sports, and this Aberdeen supporter, Steve Wilson there. So just to recap the tables, it's early days, certainly in the Conference League. They played just the 2 games. Fiorentina, quite a few sides actually got maximum points. Fiorentina are top of the table. The Dons right now, of course, given that goal difference, that hammering they took tonight, they're bottom of the Conference League as things stand. And looking at the table in the Europa League, we have got 3 teams on maximum points: Midtjylland, Braga and Lyon. We have got Celtic. They are in 21st spot on the table, 4 points in their opening 3 games. And I'm afraid to say, Rangers, bottom of the table, 0 points in their opening 3 games. So it's been a busy night, but thankfully Celtic did manage to come back and get the victory and give us some pride, because it's been a sore one, no doubt at all about that. And actually lots to look forward to at the weekend, as I was saying. Some big games on Saturday, some huge games on Sunday. So the Saturday show kicks things off from 9 a.m. Join Amy and Stephen. It's really good fun, that programme. That's followed by Off the Ball at midday. Stuart and Tam, of course, they will give their side of things. And Sports and back on air at 2 o'clock. It's going to be great fun, a really busy day. From all of us here on the Sports Sound team, thanks for joining us and good night.
Across Scotland with the latest news, sport, music and culture.
On digital radio,
BBC Sounds
and your smart speaker.
Play BBC Radio Scotland.
The news at 11 o'clock with Pamela Havron. Good evening. The First Minister of Northern Ireland has criticised the acquittal of a British Army veteran charged with murdering two men taking part in a civil rights march in Londonderry 53 years ago. Michelle O'Neill said the verdict was a denial of justice. Soldier F, who can't be named, was among troops who opened fire on the unarmed demonstrators, killing 13 people. A judge said the evidence against him fell short of that required for a conviction. Mickey McKinney's brother William was among the people Soldier F was accused of killing.
Soldier F created two young widows on Bloody Sunday. He orphaned 12 children and he deprived dozens of siblings of a loving brother. Despite the heroism, steadfastness and dignity of the Bloody Sunday families and wounded, a coward walks free from the dock today.
A man and a woman have died and 5 other people have been treated in hospital for smoke inhalation after a fire in a flat in the west end of Glasgow. The emergency services were alerted to the blaze in a 4-storey building on Hewenden Lane in Hindland around 10:15 on Monday evening. The man and woman were pronounced dead at the scene. Police say the fire is not believed to be suspicious. A former teacher accused of historical sex abuse charges in Scotland has been arrested in South Africa on a further 90 charges. Ian Wares, who's 86, has been accused of abuse by scores of former pupils of Edinburgh Academy and Fettes College, where he taught in the 1960s and 70s. Mr Wares now lives in Cape Town, where the High Court ruled in August last year that he could be extradited on 3 charges to face trial in Scotland. The new charges have been lodged by 65 people who were allegedly sexually and physically abused by Mr Wares in Scotland. Mr Wares was granted bail and a hearing is due to start on the 20th of November. The BBC presenter Nicky Campbell, a former pupil, says that he witnessed Ian Wares abusing pupils.
There are things that go through my mind, have gone through my mind every day of my life. Any survivor will tell you that. And you're kind of really... so many brave guys have been confronting this. It's a moment of muted celebration, I would say.
A school bus driver who watched pornography on his mobile phone with pupils nearby has been found guilty of breach of the peace. 55-year-old David Robb repeatedly viewed images of naked women while picking up and dropping off school pupils in the Borders. Cameron Buttle reports.
A former pupil of Jedburgh Grammar School told the town's Sheriff Court that he regularly witnessed Robe looking at pornographic images on his phone. The pupil, who was 16 years old at the time, told the court he could see Robe's phone screen while waiting to get off the bus. Another pupil said she was concerned that younger pupils could also see the images. She said it happened most days and she would deliberately not look because she didn't want to see them. Robe's defence lawyer argued that his behaviour hadn't caused fear or alarm, but the sheriff disagreed and said that the case had passed the custody threshold. Robe, who is from Ashington in Northumberland, will be sentenced on November the 7th.
Britain and Germany's defence ministers have been visiting RAF Lossiemouth today to announce details of closer military cooperation between the two countries. This will include flying joint maritime patrols from the Marie Air Base using new Poseidon P-8A aircraft to hunt for Russian submarines. Britain and Germany signed a new defence pact a year ago. On to sport now, and Captain James Tavernier said he was left raging after Rangers' 3-0 defeat by Brann sent them bottom of the Europa League table. The confidence-stricken Scottish Premiership side, under the stewardship of Danny Rule for the first time, registered just 1 shot on target in Bergen. Elsewhere in the competition, Celtic came from behind at home to Sturm Graz to win 2-1 against the Austrians, who finished the game with 10 men. Liam Scales and Benjamin Negrin scored within 3 minutes of each other to turn the tie around. Aberdeen suffered their heaviest ever European defeat as AEK Athens won 6-0 in their Europa Conference League match in Greece. There's more on all these stories on the BBC Sport website. To the weather, cloud in eastern Scotland becoming more expansive tonight with some patchy rain along eastern coasts. Some showers in the north and the west coast. The driest clearing conditions on the southwest. Lows of 2 to 5 Celsius typically 7 to 10 Celsius around coasts and across the Isles. North to northeasterly winds will freshen across the Northern Isles and the northeast coast. Looking ahead to tomorrow, it's going to be cloudier, colder and windier than today. It will be windy around coast particularly, with a brisk breeze even inland adding to the chill. Temperatures 8 to 10, 11 Celsius. BBC Radio
Late Night Radio with Natasha Raskin-Sharp on BBC Radio Scotland.